planets, you have two royal planets, the sun and the moon. And then you have the seven major planets. Among the seven major planets, you have the five, the big planets, the big five, I call it, and then the two shadow nodes. So Rahu Ketu, right? So then you have 12 houses. The 12 houses, you can break them into different ways, right? So the 12 houses, you can break them into starting from Aries all the way to Pisces is by gender. All odd houses are masculine in nature, even houses are feminine. So you can know the sequence, right? All odds are the Aries, the Geminis, the Leos, the Libras, and the Sagittarius and Capricorn. These are all Capricorn, my mistake. Aquarius, these are all male gender. Yeah, the even gender is the or the female is the even gender one. Same way, you can break down these houses, the Aries and Sagittarius and Pisces, into houses of the you can call fire energy. The earth energy is you have Taurus, then you have Scorpio, or Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, and or my mistake, sorry, Taurus. I said Taurus, Virgo, and what am I missing? One, five, and Taurus, Virgo, and then Aquarius, right? So that's more of the Earth, Earth energy, not Aquarius, Capricorn, sorry, right? And then you have the air energy. The air energy is you have Gemini, then Libra, and you have Aquarius, right? So the Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the air is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and the water energy is your Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Now, also important to note is that these houses you can also break them by movable, fixed, dual, right? Movable is you have Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Fixed is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and um, Aquarius, right? And then your movable, which is the dual nature houses, is Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini and Virgo, right? So you can break it down. And also the houses which you have, right, can be broken down into past, present, future. The past houses are your Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra are past. The present is you start from Taurus if you look at Taurus, and then you have Leo, you have Scorpio, and Aquarius, and the future is you have Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So this is how you break down the houses in ways, right? You should always know this, and I'm trying to say this in every class for people because these are some of the things you should never forget, right? So it's, sometimes people join new, so I just try to bring it up as a quick thing to start with, okay? The next is the planets also can be broken down, right? The planets can be broken down in a way that you have masculine, feminine, right? So masculine is you have Sun, you have Mars, you have Jupiter. Many say Rahu can be male or female. Some put male, some put female. I just put Rahu and male, the way I've seen the calculations. Female, Moon and Venus comes into female, okay? And then you have the Inuch planets, which is Mercury, Saturn, and Ketu. The next is you can break down the planets by energies, right? Light energies to luminous planets, light energies they have. One is natural, one is more of the absorbing and reflector and filter. So sun is the natural, moon is the absorbing reflector filter. So Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, and Saturn, the big five planets, and the two shadow planets which don't have light. The nodes, they block light, they do mutation of light. Okay. So those are the other things I would say which comes into play, right? Now, that's the thing. The next thing is what I wanted to speak about further. What I want to speak about is malefic and benefic, right? Your benefic, if you look at Jupiter, is a benefic, full moon is a benefic. Then a full moon aspected by a Jupiter is even a stronger benefic than a Jupiter. And then you have Venus is the next one. Then the Mercury, which is single or independent by itself, is also a benefic. And then you have the waxing moon, right? These are all benefics. The malefics start from Rahu, then Ketu, Saturn, Mars, and then you have the waning moon, and the new moon is the real malefic as well. So I've broken down all the planets. Sun is kind of in the center between um, the benefic and the malefic, right? It's like malefic, 50-50. So sun is always in the center here because sun's heat and light you can see through this process. Now, this is the entire system of the planets and the zodiac, right? Now, what I mean, I've not touched is the 27 constellations, the four padas, which belongs to the moon, right? But we're still focusing on the houses here. So Taurus, right? In Taurus, we are going to touch Taurus. So Venus is a feminine planet. Taurus is a feminine house. So let's look at some of the nature of the Taurus house. Taurus is a feminine house. Venus is a feminine planet. Um, Taurus is a natural second house in the zodiac. Then Taurus is more like a fixed sign. Taurus is more like a earth sign or a ground sign. Um, Taurus is all focusing everything about present today, right? That's pretty much strong about the Taurus thing as well. Today, what is it, right? They don't care much for tomorrow. That's the way I would say Taurus is also involved. Okay. Now, so it's the second house in the zodiac, it's a fixed sign. Okay. What is interesting is if you look at fixed signs, right? The fixed signs, if you look at what is very unique about this Taurus, there are a lot of unique things. If you look at all the fixed signs, right? So the fixed signs, if you look at are from here, you go back, you come to next is Virgo, right? That's another fixed sign. And then from Virgo, you go to Capricorn, right? So Virgo is more of a dual nature if you look at it. But but Taurus being more like a benefic nature completely, right? Because of Venus nature here. So this is a only fixed and then Capricorn, right? And the Capricorn is more owned by Saturn, malefic planet, right? So this is the only fixed sign among the fixed signs, of all the three, if you look at coming from a benefic planet, fully benefic planet. Mercury is like very tricky one, right? But this is really highly feminine in nature, okay? Because Venus is feminine, this house is also feminine. Moon comes, we'll talk later. Moon comes exalted here, also feminine here, right? So, so a lot of focus is on, getting dressed up, being, beautiful, all those luxury, beautiful things, right? Looking good. These are the people who even want to look good. As I say that, even when they go to sleep, right? They will put makeup, they'll get dressed up, they'll put the highlights because even in their dreams, they want to look good and feel good. Okay, so that's very important for these people as well in this process, right? So something important to note as well for these people. And these are the people which have, always beautifying the nails, the pedicure, manicure, all those things as well, right? They're very, very non-sentimental or extremely less sentimental. They're pretty emotional, but less sentimental, right? And also, very important for them is principles, right? The principle, the way of doing things, being like a perfectionist and all those things, right? Look at the symbol of the Taurus sign, right? It's like an ox. What does an ox do? It is works on the ground, earth, right? So agriculture becomes an important thing. It's always working for others, right? In those days, it used to plow the lawn or used to take people in a bullock cart and all those things, right? So it was doing always those things for people, right? Always working for people. Very important. And what is also important is they keep on doing their duty without results or expectations. So that's very important, right? They keep on doing the work. So sometimes there is a challenge that for them to get recognitions and stuff becomes a challenge in this process, right? It's a ground sign. It's a pretty slow moving people or slow moving thought process here, right? Involved with land, agriculture. They're pretty helpful people with Taurus house, strong Taurus house, moon in Taurus or an ascendant in Taurus. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Look at the constellations, the nakshatras, the moon constellations, right? You have the Kritika, second pada, third pada, fourth pada, right? And then you have Rohini nakshatra, right? Rohini, four padas. And then you have two padas of Mrigashira, which is Mars Nakshatra. Okay. Now, these people, as I said, right, are the most likely the people who even will take shower twice a day, morning and in the night before they go to bed. They always want to be fresh, neat, highlights, makeup, all those things, and good looking, the clothes they wear, all those things will resonate. There is something always unique about this people of Moon in Taurus and Sun in Taurus, right? They like their face. They would like to do something with their face always, right? And always they would like to put, you know, play with some things, the face, the hair, and all those things, so facials and all those things, right? So that's the important thing. Now, let's look at some of the things. What happens in this house? So this is a house where moon gets exalted. What is unique about this house is moon gets exalted, right? Moon gets exalted in the degree of 3 degrees in Kritika Nakshatra Pada 2. Okay. And moon, when exalted here in the D9 or the Navamsha chart, goes to Capricorn. Do understand that, right? That is one of the reason that moons is feels much better, or moon does good when it's in the Rohini Nakshatra, right? Rohini Nakshatra Pada 2, which is Vargotama and Pushkara Navamsa also, okay? And it's also close or better than exaltation. So, moon, okay? Then what about other planets, right? I'm trying to think. The other important planet, which does no planet gets debilitated here, though, right? No planet, technically speaking, but the planet which does other than Moon very well in this house, right? I mean, Venus is his own house, right? Which went very well as close exaltation is Rahu. Rahu does very well in this house for several reasons, right? They say that Rahu's birth star is Rohini Nakshatra, right? As similar as or which is Moon's favorite nakshatra, Rohini, right? Rahu's birth star is that. That's one. And Rahu's loves ground sign. Okay, so that's the other important thing. And Rahu also likes the Venus thing, right? It's got the energy of Venus here. So that's where Rahu does very well here. So Rahu does pretty well here. Now, coming back, you have to always check the moon strength, right? I said moon gets exalted here, but check the moon by its strength. See whether it's a full moon, it's a waxing moon, it's a waning moon, right? Or if a benefics like Jupiter, Venus is aspecting or conjunct with the moon gets stronger. Okay. You have to check the moon in the Navamsha also, right? Moon in the Navamsha, Rohini, Pada 1 goes to Aries, Pada 2 goes to Taurus again, which is Vargotama and Pushkara Navamsa. The other important thing is that check, for example, if it is moon, right? If it is moon, then check whether it belongs to team A or team B, right? Team A is you have the five planets: Sun, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Ketu, right? Team B is you have the four planets: you have Venus, Rahu, Saturn, and Mercury. So you have to see, because moon is automatically beneficial for the team A planets as well, right? So that's important to note. And so those are the things, right? Now we'll start with each of the planets. So we'll go from the from Sun to all the way to Moon and all the way to Rahu Ketu. Okay, Sun. Sun. It's actually not a good placement, right? Sun is not a good placement because Sun and Taurus, Sun and Venus are enemies, right? So Sun and Taurus is not a good placement. But do understand, Venus is a benefic house. Okay, Jupiter, Venus is a benefic planet, and Taurus and Libra are benefic houses, right? Taurus and Libra are benefic houses. So what that means is being benefic houses, planet like Sun will do well here. Okay, planet like Sun will do well because it's a benefic house, and I should say that Venus gets a little bit of the no from the Venus dignification or the house dignification of Taurus. Sun gets dignified, so Sun is actually not bad at all here. Okay, even though it's an enemy house, so you have to understand that. Okay, what happens is Venus, the house of Venus here, Taurus, would dignify the Sun. Okay, now it's it's the house dignification, not a planet dignification. The planet dignification is always superior than a house dignification. Okay, so the planet dignification is like for Jupiter. Is let's I just give an example. Jupiter sitting in Capricorn, aspecting this house. Great. Taurus and the Sun, awesome, right? If, for example, if Jupiter sitting in Virgo, aspecting the Sun in Taurus, or Jupiter sitting in Scorpio, aspecting the Sun in Taurus, that Sun gets completely dignified. Okay, now Sun mainly gets Digbala, directional strength in the 10th house. So that means, for example, for a Leo ascendant, the Leo ascendant Sun becomes the house owner and going and sitting in the 10th house. So it's a beautiful placement. It's an excellent placement for somebody. And if the Jupiter aspects it, that means it's an excellent placement for somebody to go into politics, government jobs, and high profile jobs, right? Sun being the master and the leader as well in this case. So that's very important as well. And then what is also important is Sun can give you high results in this process through government, head, senior managers, and higher levels, politics, right? Will give a good father as well, some kind of inheritance. All those things will happen in this process. So that's all about Sun. Moon, okay? Moon, as I mentioned earlier, gets exalted at 3 degrees, right? But the Mula Trikona, the next 27 degrees, Moon still has its Mula Trikona, right? From 3 degrees 1 minute to all the way to 30 degrees in Taurus. That's still Moon's Mula Trikona here. Now, imagine if Sun, let's say, is in Scorpio, then Moon here in Taurus is beautiful placement because it's a full moon and it's extremely powerful, right? Usually this kind of placement gives very much attachment with the mom to this person, right? Mom and this person, son or daughter, whatever it is, will be very attached, okay, and will be very influenced with the mom as well. Now, pretty strong personality because Sun in Scorpio and Moon in Taurus as well, right? And usually what happens is these people take very stubborn in decision making. Once they take a decision, you can't change them in this process, right? And I'm trying to think. This actually gives a lot of jobs and focus area around something like dairy farming, right? Dairy farming with milk, goat, cows, even vegetables, right? Any product which is associated with white color, like the pearls, fruit, juices, even agriculture, then seafood stuff, right? Seafood stuff and anything from the sea, like the pearls also, all those things, right? And also something around fashion as well. Okay. So that's so anything around beauty as well. Okay. So those are the things, anything I would say also with getting popularity. All those things Moon can give you here when it's placed here. It's an excellent position, but you'll have to check the strength of the Moon, how it is placed. Malefics like Saturn should not aspect or conjunct with the Moon. Rahu, Ketu should not be with the Moon. Then it becomes like a partial eclipse here. And if Sun is there in Scorpio, Moon is here, it's a full moon in Taurus. But if Rahu, Ketu are there, then it's more like an eclipse, and the eclipse is more like a lunar eclipse. Okay. The next is Mars, right? So Sun, maybe I didn't mention about something about jobs, right? I mentioned about Moon, these kind of jobs. Just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to sneeze here. Sorry, I didn't sneeze. Okay. So for Sun, there is a job or focus on studies around electrical engineering is a thing. Anything with power as well, right? And politics, then government, anything around government, even running the own business also, right? Entrepreneurship, all those things Sun can give you in Taurus with that, right? And also some kind of inheritance from the father, the business, the job, the learning, all those things as well. That's from Sun. The next is, so Sun I've explained, Moon I've explained. The next is Mars. Okay, Mars. Mars, like, so Mars and Venus are neutral, right? Unlike Sun, Venus are enemies, Mars, Venus are neutral. So what happens in this case is Mars gets very highly dignified here. Okay. So what happens when Mars gets dignified? This person will have less of the Martian energy, right? More subtle, more finessed energy, right? Finessed very nicely. I would say the Venus would bring that Mars energy out here through this house of Taurus. So less anger, right? Anger is one important thing, and being very courageous, brave, right? And and I'm trying to think what else. Sometimes the person can be a miser also, right? Be very calculative about how he or she spends the money as well. The important point always is the house owner Venus must be strong. Okay. But in this case, if Mars sitting here, if Jupiter or Venus either aspects or conjunct with the Mars, then it's an excellent placement, right? One way because of dignification here. And the important point is Mars sitting here can has the ability to aspect its own house Scorpio. So that's very important and will also dignify the Scorpio house. Any planet in Vedic astrology says which can see its own house, can aspect its house and strengthen its own house, and in the process will also get strengthened. To remember this, okay? So some of the things I would say jobs associated would be all your insurances, right? Life insurance, more than life insurance, I would say auto insurance, home insurance, car insurance, all those things, right? Anything with insurance, sales, okay, sales, marketing, kind of jobs which always has some kind of the deception to it, right? Some kind of things which you need it, but it's always when you're buying something, they sell you with this insurance and all those things, right? The warranty plans and all those kind of jobs, all those things associated with Mars here. So next is Mercury. Mercury is an excellent placement in Taurus here, right? It's a friendly house here, right? House of his friend Venus, and very favorable. This will give a lot of intelligence, right? But you should always check how Venus is placed. More than likely, Venus Mercury has Parivartana Yoga. Venus can be in Gemini, Mercury can be in Taurus. That's again a very good placement. The only thing is you should see that these houses are not 6, 8, and 12 as Rashi signs, right? These houses should not be 6, 8, 12. That's very important to note. They should be good houses, the 159s, or at least the 4, 7 tons, right? Not 6, 8, 12. So remember that always, right? So then again, check check that how this is placed, as in how Mercury is placed and where is Venus placed, right? Usually Mercury comes here, gives that person very good intelligence, very good with math, analytical skills rather, data numbers and all those things, right? So that is a lot of calculative skill set as well in this process. The next one is Jupiter. Jupiter is more like, I would say, it's a good place one way because it's a benefic house, right? But what happens is it's just a different energy, right? I wouldn't say inimical house. It's still a neutral house or however you want to call it. It's still Jupiter gets dignified because it's a Venus house. The only thing is a lot of Jupiterian energy would be suppressed in this process. Okay, do understand that this house comes in what is called the ring of Jupiter. The ring of Jupiter is nothing but Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. This is ring of Jupiter, right? The only important thing is even in Mercury or any other planet here, they should not be with Saturn or Rahu always, right? The problem here, Jupiter has some challenges is sitting here, its two houses are 8th and 11th, right? It's getting hidden from its two houses. So that is the challenge for Jupiter here. It can't aspect its own house here, okay? So that is very important, right? Again, you have to see how it is placed, etc., where it is placed, right? So which house number, etc. So that's the other thing of Jupiter here. Venus is next. Venus again, its own house, right? Venus has two houses. You have Libra and Taurus. Libra is more the own Mula Trikona house. This is more like a own house. Here, Venus actually is enjoys a lot. Venus will dignify further this house of female energy here. So the person will be very highly feminine, right? A lot of female energy here, beautification, and all those things will be there. A lot of things associated with good good energy, right? The only thing is this Venus and would like to have a lot of luxury in life, enjoyment, etc. The Venus should not be with Rahu and Saturn, right? The Venus alone one way is good, or Venus with Mercury is good, right? Venus should not be with Rahu, Saturn, right? Or aspected by Saturn. Important. Um, Now I'm trying to think. Venus can give you stuff around beauty parlor, cosmetic industry, right? Cosmetic, then embroidery, luxurious clothes. Venus can also give you something like both Moon and Venus can give you something about catering, right? Catering as well, hotel management, all those things are here in this process as well across Venus and Moon here in this house. The next is Saturn. Okay, Saturn is sitting in his friend's house, Venus, right? Saturn is team B, Venus is team B, so it's sitting here. Saturn gets very highly dignified, right? Except we have to see which nakshatra Saturn is going to be sitting. Saturn in Rohini 1 is a big problem, right? Because Rohini 2 is excellent. Rohini 3 is okay, Rohini 4 is a problem. So Saturn, Rohini nakshatra 1 and 4 is a problem. And Saturn Mrigashira is 1 is a problem, Mrigashira 2 is okay, no problem. So that's the way you have to look at nakshatra as well when you come to always for the planets. Saturn is sitting in his one of his best friend's house here, right? Saturn loves Venus in way, right? So he's sitting in his best friend's house. So that's very important to see as well. And the other important thing is, right? Saturn. Um, how should I say? Okay, Saturn sitting here should not be with Mars or Rahu, right? Or Mars aspecting Saturn, because that Saturn will go a little bit havoc, right? Now, if Saturn and Venus are conjunct, then your Saturn Mahadasa comes will be excellent. But your Venus Mahadasa will take a toll because your Venus will dignify Saturn and lose its energy in this process, right? So there is always this about dignification here. So one needs to understand that as well, right? So that's very important to know as well in this process. The next one I would say along with this is that with Saturn here, right? Usually, if Rahu comes in, right? Rahu comes in with Saturn here, and if Venus is also here, right? These people will behave very weird. And if Jupiter is not aspecting them, very weird as no inclination for sex and, very, you know, I don't know, they just like very weird. Like we call it like close to like an important kind of a thing, right? They get those issues in this kind of a placement as well. So one needs to be very careful in this house here. Okay. The next one is Rahu. Rahu, as I mentioned at the start, is an excellent placement. Okay. The conditions are of course is Rahu has to be in 3, 6, 11 houses here, right? Even 10 also if you want to put, you can put, but 3, 6, 11 are the best houses for Rahu here if it is in the house of Taurus. Okay. Now, always important to note the house owner Venus must be placed well. Okay, that's very important to note. The house owner Venus should be placed well, right? For that Rahu to give good results. Otherwise, that Rahu might not give you good results, right? And the other important thing is also that Rahu should not be associated or aspected by Saturn or Mars. It's a challenge then, okay? And the house owner Venus should not be sitting in Virgo, which is fifth house from here, which is debilitated. That is also a problem, right? And Moon should not be here, Sun should not be here, right? So those are the things when Rahu has to be coming into place, you know, and when Rahu Magadasa comes, then Rahu would do good, provided the house owner is good and that Rahu is aspected by Jupiter or something like that, okay? So that's the important thing. And usually, what happens when Rahu Mahadasa comes, there is a lot of gains and stuff happening through mother, women, or ladies, and a lot of female contacts. All those things will happen in Rahu Mahadasa. Ketu is somewhat okay. I wouldn't say great. Ketu somewhat okay. Okay. Ketu's good houses, I would say, are always Virgo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and the two Jupiter houses, Pisces, Sagittarius. Rahu's good houses are Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, and Capricorn, and the two Jupiter houses, Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay, and Ketu somewhat okay, but there are always challenges with Ketu sitting in Taurus, right? These people will be a little bit more opposite if it's an ascendant, let's say, not liking dressing up and all those things will change. Now, also, right? Also, what happens is, um, how should I say? Ketu sitting here, right, will be more like a person like an introvert, right? Now I'm not taking other planets here, just Ketu alone. Will make the person more an introvert and a quiet person, right? Want to be single in life, not get married, no children, all those things will be there. Or if that person likes it, it's okay, right? But that's kind of what the placement here gives for Ketu. And if Venus household is debilitated, then there are bigger challenges as well, right? Otherwise, Ketu is somewhat okay here. So I'm trying to think. I finished the nine planets. I finished broken down these. Anything else? Okay. So the last before we go to the Q&A session, okay? The important point here is that the house owner Venus is important in this case, right? Venus has to be dignified or with strength to give good results. Number one. Number two is benefic planet like Jupiter should be aspecting this house Taurus to get good strength. Number three is the Taurus house should be is more favorable for an ascendant of team A. Yeah, so that is also important, right? Or team B rather, my mistake. Team B than team A actually, right? So Taurus house automatically will be favorable for team B ascendants than team A. But if it has to be favorable, then somewhere Jupiter has to come into play as a support here, right? And last but not the least is you have to see their strength through the Navamsa and how they are placed and the Mahadasa sequence. If at all Venus or Venus Mahadasa comes into play or a Taurus house is activated through a planet sitting in Taurus house. So that is the way I would actually break it down to understand if at all you're going to see all these beneficial results of Taurus. But pretty much all these things I explained are for people with moon in Taurus or Taurus ascendant. But I did give some planet positions of these houses where what kind of jobs one will look at as well. So that also I gave examples at a high level. So I'm trying to think anything else I've missed or wanted to add. Taurus, last point, right? Taurus is so important is because Venus, um, feminine sign, and two planets, Moon and Venus, gets kind of exalted here, right? So one needs to know that that this sign becomes very important in this whole zodiac, right? And it's also the natural owner of the second house. The second house is associated with family, right? Family, then money, speech, right? All those things, the second house is associated. So one needs to also check through this process for Taurus in order to see some of the significations as well. All right. So I think I'm done with my questions. Kushita, are you there?
Hi, Srini. Yes.
Okay, so we can open up the floor for questions. Yeah, thank you.
Have you turned off hand raising? I can't see it because I'm not a mod.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry, my mistake. So sorry. I'll make you sorry. I forgot. You can see now.
Yeah, no
Sorry.
problem. Um, so I see Sai Divya is also on the speaker panel. So, will you also help in moderating, Sai Divya?
Yeah, I can help to an extent. I'm new to this, but I'm happy to help.
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you so much. Great. All right. So, yeah, we have hand raising turned on for everyone,
I have
and
one
I don't see
request.
any hands raised. Sorry, go ahead, Sai Divya.
Yeah,
Okay, we see one.
Srini, you were mentioning about 6, 8, 12 houses, right? Taurus should not be as 6, 8, and 12. Can you just throw some light on that? Like, what would be the ill effects if it is there?
So six. Okay, great. Right. If it is not like Taurus is not 6, 8, and 12, it's the challenge is Venus sitting here gives challenges when 6, 8, 12 comes in, or planets comes in, right? So sixth house, for example, is for Sagittarius ascendant. Okay, Sagittarius ascendant will always have sixth house as your thing. Eighth house, Libra ascendant, right? And then your 12th house is your Gemini ascendant, right? Now, now let's say depending on which planet is sitting here, will give challenges. So I'll give an example. Venus sitting for sixth house in a for a Sagittarius ascendant, right? In the sixth house here, okay? It's a challenge somewhere because Venus is extremely strong. As a sixth lord sitting in the sixth house. So the sixth lord gets extremely strong, and not only the sixth lord, is also 11th lord. So he will give you a lot of issues around um, Runa, Roga, Shatru, death, diseases, all those things, right? So debt, Runa, Roga, Shatru, right? So debt, diseases, enemies, all those things will you will get, right? So that's the way. If, for example, eighth lord, right? As the eighth lord sitting here, Venus, that means it's for a Libra ascendant. So what happens? He's also the ascendant lord, right? But he's activating more of the eighth house than the first house. So in the eighth house, what happens is there is always somewhere issues around family, health, but it can also give you sudden gains as well, right? Through some loss of death in the family, etc. So it gives you some sudden gains in a positive way. It can also help you in a longevity, but it's not the best placement. For Gemini ascendant, Venus sitting in the 12th is an excellent placement one way. It's an excellent placement. Okay, so out of the 6th, 8th, and 12th, if at all you would see for a Gemini ascendant, Venus sitting in the 12th in Taurus is an excellent placement. Okay,
Thanks, Srini.
you're welcome.
Hi, Krishna.
Hi, good evening, Srini, and good morning to the rest of the people. Uh,
Hi.
Hi. This is not specific to Taurus. You were talking about Navamsha and Pushkara Navamsa. Can you just speak a little bit on that? What does Pushkara Navamsha mean actually? Because I see you using this term very.
So, okay, so see, Pushkara Navamsa means, see, Pushkara means it's caring, okay? Pushkara means caring. Somebody is coming and helping you or something, it's a caring. There are, what is called Pushkara Navamsa means it's a special care somebody gets, right? When do you get the special care? For example, I'm just giving an example. When you're on the travel, somebody comes and help you out of the way, right? That's a special care. Now, when also you get special care if somebody gets adopt somebody, right? So if we have to break down Pushkara Navamsa, there are rules for Pushkara Navamsa. Okay, some of the rules are I'll tell you is we'll start with Mars, Mercury, right? Okay, Ketu. So Ketu, Mercury, Mars don't have any Pushkara Navamsas. Okay, which means what I'm saying is I'm going to the nakshatras now. There are 27 constellations, right? There are 27 nakshatras, 9 planets, 3 nakshatras per planet. So all Ketu nakshatras, so Ashwini, Maga, Mula, Ketu nakshatra, right? They don't have any Pushkara Navamsa thing, right? Then Ketu, then Mars. Mars starts from Mrigashira, Chitra, Dhanishta. Then Mercury is Jayashta or Ashlesha, Jayashta, and Revati. These 3, 3, 6, 9 constellations don't have any Pushkara Navamsa at all. Okay. Now Rohini Nakshatra, right? Rohini Nakshatra is very unique. Okay, Rohini is very unique because Rohini is Nakshatra, the second pada is Pushkara Navamsa as well as Vargotama. Okay, Vargotama means Varga Uttama. They are the same house between two divisional charts in Navamsha and Rasi. Okay, so Rohini second pada, so that's moon. Jupiter fourth pada, right? And especially Jupiter fourth pada is Punarvasu, right? Not all. So again, not all moon nakshatra is only Rohini nakshatra second pada. Then Punarvasu fourth pada, right? And Uttarashada first pada. So sun first, sun one, moon one, and Jupiter. All these three have Pushkara Navamsa and Vargotama. So again, Uttarashada first pada, Rohini second pada, and Punarvasu fourth pada. This is both. So this gets undue strength automatically. Okay. They are like, you can call it as a platinum status kind of a thing. Okay. That's the way I call it. So they get undue strength. Now, Suns for sun nakshatras, the first and the fourth pada, all sun nakshatra, first and fourth pada are Pushkara Navamsa. Okay, for sun. For Jupiter, Moon, Saturn, it is second padas or Pushkara Navamsa. So pick any nakshatra of Saturn. You want to pick Anuradha, Pushya, or Uttarabhadra pada, right? The second pada will be always Pushkara Navamsa. The third pada is for Venus, Pushkara Navamsa. All third pada of Venus are Pushkara Navamsa. And the fourth pada is for Sun, Rahu, and Jupiter again. So Jupiter comes again, and Sun comes again here. They are Pushkara Navamsa. Okay. Now, among all of this, right, the Rohini second is very superior. Rohini second is very superior and astronomically very interesting. When Moon goes into Rohini, it takes more time to come out once it enters Rohini than any other constellation. So it can also be proven that Moon spends more time in Rohini than any other constellation, astronomically also. Okay.
Shrini, I think you mean Uttarashada Pada 2 is Vargottama. You said Pada 1.
Did I said, give me 1 minute.
You
Uttarashada Pada. Hold on. Oh, yeah, correct, correct. So, no, 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 no. So, right. So, basically, is Vargotama, but not Pushkara Navamsa. So let me explain. So you missed it out. So,
No, no, I heard that.
Uttarashada,
I heard that. But
hear,
Pada,
hear me out. Hear me out. Uttarashada, first pada, okay, hear me out. Uttarashada, first pada is Vargotama and Pushkara Navamsa. Okay. Uttarshada, Uttarshada Pada 2 is not Pushkara Navamsa.
so there are two Pushkara Navamshas in Uttarashada, Pada 1 and Pada 4.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly correct. The Pada 4 would go to Pisces. Okay. So, but there are two Pushkara Navamsas for the Sun planet. Correct. So, Pada 1 and Pada 4. Okay.
And how
Got
do
it.
Is
we
that
know
clear?
which pada goes to which planet? Because in Ashwini we say first pada is Mars, second is Shukran, third is Buddhan. How do we know that which pada goes to which?
That's a calculation. Very easy, right? Very easy. See, each house has got 9 planets. Okay, each house has got 9 planets, and you only get to know more into astrology. You will learn this. Okay, there is a calculation for Vargotama or Navamsha, Vargotama. Everything is a calculation. It's all calculations. Okay, there is a calculation for which Navamsa. Very simple, right? If you're good in math, you can easily figure it out. So there are 30 degrees in a house, right? 30 degrees in a house. Each planet is 3 degree and 20 minutes. Okay, or each not planet, I should say. Each nakshatra pada is 3 degree 20 minutes. One part. A full nakshatra is 13 degree 20 minutes. So when you divide 30 degrees divided by 9 gives you 3 degree 20 minutes. In Aries house, you have 9 parts of a constellation, total different constellations, right? You have Ashwini 4 padas, Bharani 4 padas, and Kritika first pada. So you have 9 different parts. So you start from Aries in the Navamsa, you go all the way, you finish in Sagittarius. Okay, and that is Kritika Nakshatra Pada 1. Kritika Pada 2, which is in Taurus in Rashi, would start now from Capricorn. It will continue. So the whole number of 108 constellations would finish the zodiac. That's how it is. Okay.
Right, and it's always clockwise. It doesn't go anti-clockwise.
Well, correct. So it depends, right? In the South Indian version, it is clockwise. We do clockwise. The North Indian go anti-clockwise. So again, it depends which version of the chart you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Srini. That's it. No more questions from me.
Thanks, Krishna. Hi, Anurupa.
Hey, hi. Hey, Srini, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for sending the notes of the last class. Sorry I couldn't attend. I have been busy with helping my friends in moderating and all that. Yeah, it's been a
Great, no
while.
problem.
We never
Yeah,
interacted, right?
it's been some time. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, thank you. I was listening to the class. It's very informative. Thank you for that. So, my question is so, how about, if there are no planets in the sign of Taurus?
So that's okay, right? You have to see again which ascendant it is, what is the house number, where is the house owner sitting, and who is aspecting Taurus, right? Some planet would always aspect some house here, right? It can be Saturn, you have Mercury, or Mercury, Moon, Sun, Venus only have seventh aspect, but you have Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter got special aspects. So they have the ability to look into the special planets as well, right?
Yes, correct. Right. Yeah.
So you have to look into that aspect house also, right? You'll have to see who is aspecting that house also. For example, Jupiter can sit in Capricorn and aspect Taurus. Saturn, right? Saturn, for example, also, right, can sit in Leo and aspect Taurus. So it doesn't need to be the planet, doesn't need to be there. The energy goes there also, right? See,
Mm-hmm.
just the same way you are in your house and monitoring your house to make sure that but you can also put a camera in your house, around your house, in your house, and monitor from anywhere you want, right? That is also an aspect.
Yeah, correct.
You see,
Yes. But
both
as
have
you
to be
said,
looked
yeah,
into
we have
energies.
to look at different things, right? So,
Correct,
correct.
correct, exactly. Okay.
Okay. So maybe just adding to that, what if it is that Taurus, if there is no planets, it's a ninth house, okay, for a
See,
Virgo ascendant.
so that it's a beautiful placement, right? It's the second and the ninth house for a Virgo placement, right? It's an excellent house end of the day, and Venus is a benefic planet, so you will get a lot of things around the ninth house things here, right? But again, you have to see whose Mahadasa is running, right? If you're not running a Venus Mahadasa or anything, you won't see the Taurus house activated unless some planet is aspecting the Taurus house.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I got you.
But end of the day, for a Virgo ascendant or for the TB6 ascendants, you have Venus houses or as beneficial. And if the Saturn ascendants are there, both the Capricorn Aquarius, then the Venus two houses becomes very important because Venus is now all of a sudden a Yoga Karaka. Those two houses are so important now in this process.
Okay, yeah, sure,
Okay.
Srini. Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Anurupa. Hi, Shubhendru.
Hi, Krishna. Hi, Shini.
Hi.
Shini, I have one question about
Yeah.
that. If we talk about Taurus ascendant, so in generally, if we see the people who are generally born in August and nearby that, but they have generally debilitated Venus at that particular time. So how that affects the even the Taurus and
Sorry.
the
When
the
when is it?
the people generally born around August month, so they
Okay,
have
okay,
debilitated
yeah,
Venus
okay.
generally.
Fair enough.
So how
Okay.
does that affect Taurus and Libra, both the ascendant I talk about?
Taurus and Libra ascendants, how does it affect, right? So having
Right.
debilitated Venus is not good, right? And Venus gets debilitated in Virgo, right, at 28, no, 27 degrees at Virgo, 27 degrees. Now, you should not immediately consider Venus is debilitated, okay? You should first validate it. How do you validate it? You check if, I'll give an example. Let's say Venus is in Virgo, Mercury is in Libra. Now that Venus is
Right.
not debilitated anymore. It's a Parivartana Yoga here. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's say Venus is in Virgo, right? And Jupiter is sitting in Pisces, or Jupiter is sitting in Taurus and aspecting this Venus. It's not debilitated anymore. Okay. Let's say all Moon is sitting in Pisces aspecting this Venus. This Venus is not debilitated anymore. Please understand debilitation. You should not just take into, oh, just because Venus is sitting in Virgo, it's debilitated. No, don't go there, you'll go wrong. Okay.
And
If Venus is debilitated, if you validate it, the debilitated Venus results you would only see during the Mahadasa time period of Venus coming into play. Right? If Venus Mahadasa is not coming in, I would not worry much about it. That's the way you have to see, right? The debilitated planets, exalted planets All those results will only come in Mahadasa. If you have an exalted planet and if you're not seeing the results, it's probably because you're running a wrong Mahadasa and you're not running and that planet exalted is not favorable. So I had somebody when I was doing consultation was a Gemini ascendant, and this person was questioning. I have three planets exalted, three planets, and I'm not seeing any results at all. Which won't, right? Because the three planets are Moon exalted in the 12th for a Gemini ascendant. The next one is Mars exalted in the 8th, right? And Saturn exalted in the 5th. Now, and this person is running Moon Mahadasa. It's not seeing any result. So you also have to understand which ascendant, where is it getting exalted in the 12th house. So a lot of those things you would not see positive results coming into play. Same thing in debilitation also. You may not see some positive or negative results coming in unless it's happening in the right place.
Okay, okay. So, and another thing is like if the planet is debilitated and the same thing happen in D9, so planet will be Vargottama being debilitated also, or
Correct. So the debilitation becomes a little bit more. See, the Vargotama planets get strength, but end of the day in your D1 chart, it has to be with some kind of strength, right? So it's a little bit more deep. So Vargotama debilitation, I don't consider it very strong. I don't consider it strong. A lot of people
okay,
may consider it strong. Oh, it's still Vargotama, now it's strength. No, it is not. It is not because the weakness becomes stronger, which means it gets a little bit more weaker now. That's the way I see it.
Shoot.
thank you, Chini. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's fine. Okay.
Hi, Kubila. Hi,
Um,
are you there?
yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Um, hi everyone. I log on. I joined this group because yes, I am a Taurus, even though I don't feel like I'm a Taurus in the Vedic
So
astrology.
probably are you talking from Vedic or Western?
No, Vedic.
Vedic. Okay, you don't feel like Taurus. So do you have any planets like Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars sitting in the first house?
Honestly, like I'm new to this, but I when I gave my birth date, the time and everything, it said I'm a
Okay.
Taurus,
Okay.
but I'm still learning.
So so we're not discussing personal charts here, just to let you know. But you want to go analyze your personal chart because when you have multiple planets, there will be a mixture of those things coming into play. Those things will always change.
Okay,
And we're not doing
but
any personal charts also here, just to let you know.
but you're talking about Taurus, because that's a
Correct.
topic.
So you, correct. That's the topic, right?
So I'm here just to know like more about Taurus, since I
Okay.
found out that I'm a Taurus in the Vedic astrology.
Okay. So we just spoke everything about Taurus. I don't know when you joined.
I joined a couple minutes ago.
So sorry, we're almost done. It's like a Q and A.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kubila. I see Marjorie's joined. Hi, Marjorie.
Hi,
Hi
Marge.
everyone. I'm super late, but hi everyone.
Uh, we don't have any other raised hands, but if Marjorie, you have a question, or if someone else on the panel has a second question, please go ahead.
No, I don't have any questions. I just but anyone else, go ahead.
Hey Srini, how do you see a moon and Jupiter conjunction in Taurus house?
So Moon Jupiter is an excellent placement here, right? Excellent placement in Taurus house. Now, depending on which ascendant, you can see that, right? As in, I say which ascendant is because Moon gets exalted here, Jupiter is still okay. And depending on which ascendant, right? For example, if you take, let's take an example, right? Let's take Libra ascendant itself. It's in the eighth house, which is not great, right? But if it's Virgo ascendant, then it's awesome in the ninth house. So you have to see which ascendant is falling here. And end of the day, Venus is the second greatest benefic after Jupiter. So, being a second greatest benefic after Jupiter, there is a lot of positive dignification for both Moon and Jupiter by coming to this house. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, this is the conjunction of Jupiter and Moon is called Guru Chandra Yoga. Okay. Now, it's great, but you have to look at degrees, how they are placed. Is also that Moon is with strength as what house and all those things needs to be analyzed. But overall, it's a good one, but just need to check which house it is. If it is maybe in the eighth, maybe not the best one. So again, you need to see those things. Okay,
Thank you, Srini.
you're welcome.
I see Ritesh has joined. Hi, Ritesh. Go ahead.
Hey Kujita, hey Srini. Hope you guys are well.
Hi, Ritesh. Hi.
Hey, thanks for the great session. So, a question on Taurus, right? So, the Vrishabha, as I understand it in Sanskrit, is the bull or masculine energy, and we're seeing
Correct.
all the female planets being exalted here. So, how do you reconcile the masculinity of the name and the feminine nature of the house?
So, great question, right? So the thing here is it's a bull with a lot of feminine energy, which is more nurturing. So this house, not the feminine energy comes because of Venus, and it's a female energy. It's more nurturing in nature, right? So it's nurturing, grounded energy, all those things. And the way the bull signifies is the I explained at the start, and I don't know when you joined. The bull, the ox. It's an ox actually. The ox is more of it always works for others, right? Imagine in those days it used to plow the land. It used to, plow the land. It used to take people in a bullock cart from place A to place B, right? So it doesn't care. It's very non-sentimental, very emotional, non-sentimental. That's what it is. And it is something which does results without expectations or it does work without results and expectations. That's the way. That's the way I would see it. See, it's a bull which is more nurturing and caring, right? Not the bull which is used for fighting, as the rodeo and stuff. Not like that. It's more of doing the work. It's like a workhorse bull kind of a thing.
Great point. Thank you, Srini. Very clear.
You're
I have
welcome.
another one, but I can wait. I think I see Bhanu, so I can ask.
No, no, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, so this is more a general one. So what happens, Srini, if your ascendant is team A, but your Chandra Rashi is team B?
So it's a great question, right? If your ascendant is team A and your Chandra Rasi is team B, it's very simple, right? Your it depends. So Chandra Rasi is going to signify your Mount Mahadasa now. Okay. Now, the important point is from the ascendant and the Chandra Rasi, you have to see what is the axis. It has to be favorable axis. Okay. So, for example, it has to be 1 7. Okay. I'm just giving an example 1 7. If you keep whatever is ascendant, 1 7, 1 9, 1 5, 1 4, all those things. Okay. What is not favorable is if you keep ascendant as 1, Chandra is in the sixth or eighth or 12th, then it's not favorable.
Okay. But beyond that, the planetary Jupiter versus Venus, will that also impact beyond the 6, 8, 12? Will it cause more
No, so
turbulence?
the team A, the team B thing, see, the team A, team B is based on ascendant, not based on your moon sign here, on ascendant. So you have to give the priority highest to this one. And the moon placement is your mind. So I'll give an example to make it very simple. So Aries ascendant, okay, Aries ascendant, moon is let's say sitting in seventh house in Libra, like what you said, team A, team B, right? Aries ascendant, moon is sitting in Libra. Now let's give an example. I'll eliminate everything to make it very simple. This person is running Jupiter Mahadasa. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Okay, Jupiter Mahadasa. Let's say, for example, Jupiter is sitting from the Leo. Okay, Leo. Jupiter is sitting in Leo. Okay, what happens is Jupiter sitting in Leo running the Mahadasa. Now, the moon, when Mahadasa of Jupiter starts, you always have to keep the ascendant as Leo, okay, as a temporary point and figure out the results, okay. Now, what happens is from Moon may be placed in the seventh house from ascendant, right? But Moon is placed in the third from Jupiter. Okay, so when Jupiter Mahadasha starts, when Jupiter Moon is comes, is Jupiter is placed third from Moon. Basically, Moon and Jupiter are placed in 311 axis. So what happens is, even though the person may have a potential or ability or may have earned a lot of success, money, etc., but always would be unhappy in this case. Okay, because of this 311 axis of Moon and Jupiter here. Okay, Moon is your mind. Moon is all the things you want to achieve. It is kind of placed in 311. Even though if you achieved so many things, you always feel you always missed out on something. You're not happy with it. You always come and complain, oh, it was not a great Mahadasa for me, because you go check the moon position there. Okay, now let's take another example. Moon in Aries, same as ascendant. Okay, same moon in same ascendant, Aries ascendant, Jupiter in Leo, Moon in Sagittarius. Now, Moon is placed very well from the ascendant, Moon is placed very well from Jupiter, okay, which is fifth house from Jupiter. When this Mahadasa comes in, right, absolutely this person will be very happy, right, that he's done a great job because from Jupiter and from ascendant is placed extremely well. So you'll have to understand those things of he will still achieve the same things, but he will still feel like I've done a lot of things. I'm very happy. So the moon is all about your satisfaction.
Got it. Thank you,
And
Shri.
apart from
Yeah.
the Mahadasatriga, apart from the Mahadasatriga, and apart from the Sadesati, and apart from the eclipse ones which happens on the moon constellation.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Banu.
Hi Gurjita ma'am, hi Srini sir.
Hi, Banu.
Sir, I have a general question. I was out from the room for 5 minutes, so I don't know ask whether someone have asked already asked or not. Some astrologer says that Rahu Rahu have ucha placement in Taurus, and some say it is in Gemini. What's your view on this?
So I've always clarified this. In my opinion, Rahu. So first of all, Rahu's exaltation place is, I feel, it's exaltation or close to exaltation. The place which he likes it a lot, okay, is Taurus, not Gemini. Gemini is a place where I don't see Rahu doing well at all. I have not seen Rahu doing well in Gemini. Okay, and the only reason also exaltation Rahu is there is Rahu's birth star is Rohini Nakshatra. Okay, Rahu was born in the nakshatra of Rohini, so that is the reason where Rahu does extremely well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. And also to give a logic why he does well further well is Rahu. Imagine Rahu like a snake. Okay, Taurus is a ground sign. A snake can go in the ground. Okay, a snake can go in a ground, right? Snake needs a ground to go. Gemini is an air sign. It's air. Okay, how can a snake fly in an air? It cannot fly in an air, right? Humans cannot fly in the air until you have a glider or your flight or a chopper. Then you can fly in the air. Otherwise, humans cannot fly, or a parachute. You cannot fly. So the point is, Rahu doesn't do well in Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. It doesn't do well because it's an air sign. A snake, understand, see, apply logic, right? See, end of the day, anybody can say anything, but one needs to vet it out and understand, okay, what is the sign between Taurus and Gemini? Taurus is a fixed sign. The reason why they all say it does well, in my opinion, is because Gemini is a sign owned by Mercury, Rahu, Mercury, very good relationship, absolutely correct. Gemini is a dual sign, and Rahu is a dual thing, so it is okay. Gemini is the third house in the natural zodiac, so it's okay, etc. That is the reason they say. But the reality, why I'm saying is more, it's an air sign, and a planet like Rahu, Ketu don't do well in air sign here. Like Ketu will do still, Rahu no, because Rahu is the head, The head cannot go in the snake, cannot go that way.
Thank you, sir. Very well explained. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Srini, I don't see any other raised
So,
hands.
yes, great. So that's very interesting. Yeah, Kushita, that's very interesting, right? People don't have questions because you have the benefic energy of Taurus already coming in, right? Taurus benefic energy. And the reason why I put on a Wednesday about Venus is today is because I've looked at the nakshatra, right? The nakshatra, if you look at it, it was Purvashada, right? So it was the end part of Purvashada coming in, so I kind of put it that way. Not Purvashada, my mistake. Sorry, Pura Falguni, my mistake. Pura Falguni. So I said, okay, we'll do that, but because of the reasons I have to put it. So I kind of plotted it that way. But also, it is a Wednesday today, which is a Mercury day, and you can see the energy of Mercury and Mercury Venus are very good friends. So people seems to know a lot of things already with that. So the job gets easily done for me today, which I didn't expect.
You might be right, Srini, but I think it's also my repeated reminders to people to not ask personal chart questions.
Absolutely correct. I agree with you on that also, right? Following the rules as well, right? There's one question, personal child question. Absolutely correct. Agreed. I totally agree with you. So, but when you bring Rahu energy and other energy, you will see that will be more rebellious as well. Mars energy, Mars stuff comes into play. Sometimes, well, Mars also it's okay, but Saturn and Rahu comes into play. It'll be very interesting. See, the other important thing is usually, right? People undergoing Venus Mahadasha and anything, it's more progressive, more subtle, settled, fine, etc. Versus the challenges always comes when when it comes in Rahu Mahadasha, Ketu Mahadasha, right? And then Saturn Mahadasas. This is where the challenges always come to people, always here, typically, right? So you see that, and Venus somewhere it's a big revival because they just finished the 7 years of Ketu Mahadasha. So somewhere they're very, very excited to come into this new journey of Venus here, right? And and speaking of Venus, okay, I'll ask a question to people in the room, and please feel free to raise your hand. And I know there are some people from Kerala also here, right? But feel free to raise your hand and come to the speaker as well because we're still discussing Taurus and Venus energy here. Have you ever thought within India, there's only one state in India which is called Kerala where they don't celebrate Diwali at all? Have you guys ever wondered why in Kerala they don't celebrate Diwali? I know there are people from Kerala in the room. Anybody wants to answer that?
I
Anybody?
can have a go, Srini. I mean, I don't know if it's got to do with the tale of Maharaj Bali.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's I guess one of the, so I forget if it's well, I think I'm confusing that with Onam and um,
Onam is when every year with the nakshatra of Shravana where Mahabali comes to the from to the earth, right? That's Onam.
yeah. Sorry, I think I
That's
was
Onam.
getting confused with stories.
Okay,
Apologies.
that's okay. That's okay. That's Onam. So so this is again my theory. Okay, again you have to sense and feel all this in Vedic astrology through planets. If you try to read books and stuff, a lot of these things you won't get answers, but you can crack these codes. Or before I do the answer, anybody from Kerala, anybody from India, anybody from any other place want to answer this question? Raise your hand, please. Okay, I'll answer. So, so the thing is, this is just my way of interpreting it based on Vedic astrology. Okay, this has got nothing to do with book A, book B, book C, because none of these books say support it. So far, at least what I have read. The thing is, what happened is, if we go back to history and dig the whole thing, it's little bit could be sensitive, as the way how the things have happened in the past. See, Kashmir is a very holy place, which we don't know, we don't consider it. Okay. Kashmir is a very holy place. Why? Because most of the rishis and all those things, the Sapta rishis, a lot of them was born in around the place of the Kashmir. Okay. So other than Nepal, and Kashmir is a very holy place. Nepal is the country, but Kashmir. Now, Kashmir is also the name comes from Kashmir name actually comes from Maharishi Kashyap. Okay, Maharishi Kashyap. That's when the name Kashmir comes from. Okay, Maharishi Kashyap, if you look at, if you do some research and understanding, those descendants, a lot of rishis comes in. Both Angirasa and Brigu also comes in that. Angirasa, right? Angirasa's son is Brihaspati. Okay, Angirasa's son is Brihaspati, and which became eventually got the planetary status of Jupiter. Brigu's son is Venus or Shukracharya, who eventually got the planetary status of Venus. Okay, now between these planetary statuses, right, Jupiter had the higher status because of being the guru or the father or the guru or the preceptor of the gods and the devas, right? Versus Venus got the next level, which is for the demons, right? Now, what happened was through this process, and Kashmir, if you look at the whole part of India, it's in the northern tip, right? And what happened is that these Venus got so outraged with it. He said, I'm going to move to the opposite point and I will do everything opposite in nature. That is why I always say Venus and Jupiter energy are opposite energies. Okay. So Kashmir opposite is this literally if you look at Kashmir opposite is Kanyakumari, right? The K again Kanyakumari, but it's also the Kerala part. So he moved his entire base to Kerala. Okay. That's when the Mahabali story, all those things comes in. But he moved there. So he made that as his place now, right? He made that as his place and he said everything will be done opposite. So that is why if you see, it's because of the Venus energy, right? And Ram, Krishna, everything coming in the same thing of the Jupiter energy, that side. So what happened was he's all the things which was followed by these people was exactly opposite followed by Venus. That is the reason where in Kerala they will never celebrate Diwali. And this is purely my interpretation. If you read the story, if you connect the dots, you can see bits and parts of what I said right now, and you can actually dot everything down. And then you see Mahabali was also here in Kerala only. That's why they call it as God's country also, right? Because of Venus energy coming from there on. So the whole part, if you look at the map, if you look at the map of India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, you can Philippines, you can actually connect it as one country. They were all one country. They were not different countries. They are different countries today, separated by water and islands, etc. But in those days, it was all one country. They were all together. It all moved. Okay. They say that there was the water energy through Venus coming into play as well. There are a lot of subtle points like this. Okay, I'll give another point. So the same thing in in the waxing and the waning phases of the moon, Venus also has the waxing and the waning phases. It is not visible to us. If you go do Google, do some research on astronomy on the waxing and waning phases of the Venus, you can find very similar to moon. Okay, so moon and Venus, you will see a very similar thing. So, so it's the Venusian energy which comes into play. People with strong Venus energies have the ability of driving luxurious cars, luxurious homes, right? Luxurious clothing, all those things, right? So that's where the Venus energy comes into play. But this is kind of the answer. Did I clarify, Ritesh? Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I just wanted to also add it's also in a largely patriarchal society. It's the only matrilineal state as well, right? So it's again the feminine energy, I think, of Venus, probably, the way you're
It's what
explaining.
state? It's what state?
it's the only matrilineal state, right, where the woman is normally the head of the house. If you think about Kerala,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
generally
yeah,
it's matrilineal. I think the society is called. Again, sort
yeah,
of corresponds to the Venus energy you're talking
yeah.
about.
But it also, if you also look at, right, you can keep breaking down. I don't know about now the current statistics. At one point of time, it was a state with 100% literacy in India.
It's still probably the most literate, I think 93% or something like that.
It's because of the Venus energy there. You see? You see? That whole energy starts from there. See, if you go and connect the dots from all the way from Kerala to Thailand to Philippines to Indonesia and all those things, right? Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, it all was together as one. It all separated out. And that whole part, that's why if you see, right, even if you go to Indonesia, it's more like a Muslim country, right? Indonesia. But if you go to Bali, it's still full of Hindus. Bali is over 95% Hindus only, right? Because that's where the Mahabali whole thing was there, right? And you know what is very interesting is I don't know if anybody have been to Indonesia. If anybody have been to Indonesia, just please raise your hand. What is, because I've been to Indonesia at least like 20 times, 30 times or so. 30, 40, God, I don't even, can't even remember now. Can't even put a number. But what the point I was trying to say was in Indonesia, what is very interesting is, again, I'll tell you, in Indonesia, they celebrate, I mean, Ramayana and Mahabharata is more focused than you can see it in India. So the only way I've seen in India is when you in those days when I was a kid. This is 30 years ago, God. Okay, so what happened is when cricket matches are going in India, right? You would see literally people standing on the road wherever there's a TV watching a match, right? The same thing happens in Indonesia when Ramayana and Mahabharata comes on TV. Isn't it unbelievable? When Rama and Mahabharata comes, the first time when I saw this was in the 90s or something, late 90s in Indonesia. I was like, wait, there was actually Mahabharata going up, and I thought it was a match. I'm like, what, people are crazy even for match? You know, it's Mahabharata. And then even if you stay in the hotels in Indonesia, right, always have a theme around Ramayana and Mahabharata inside the hotel. Always, they have these themes. So so the people are more inclined towards Rama and Mahabharata than what you can see it in India, the craziness. And I actually, know certain things, but but willfully, and it was like a slap in my face, which I learned it. Okay. So what happens is one thing I learned very strong from Indonesians, which I try to follow it now. Okay. And it's not that I did not know it in India, but I don't think people follow it in India diligently, and probably we got more exposed to the Western world here. In Indonesia, okay, when you go to parties in Indonesia, right, and even official parties and all those things, when you have buffets and stuff, right, an Indonesian will never stand and eat food. An Indonesian will never stand and eat food, will grab a plate, will try to go to some corner, pull up a stool or pull up a chair, somewhere ask for a chair, and then only will eat his food. He or she won't stand and eat. Isn't it unbelievable? This is a custom which we used to do it in India as people, but somewhere it's got lost. And I kind of revived that custom back from Indonesia when I used to go. They taught me again, so I started doing it from there on. So you got to learn a lot of this culture which was lost from India, which was there in India, got lost from India, and then learn from these people from these countries and revive those back again. That's the way I see it.
And the airline is called Garuda,
Sir,
right, Srini? So that's also quite
Yes,
interesting.
correct. So Garuda, in the currency of Indonesia, also you will have Ganesh in the currency. Okay, you have Ganesh in the currency. They celebrate Indian holidays, all those things they celebrate. So there is a lot of things around that as well in Indonesia. Very strong. Even in the currency, they have Ganesh.
sir, you discussed about relation between Venus and Jupiter. So, as a general perspective, does it mean that people from Taurus and Sagittarius can never be in a good relationship? As a general perspective, however,
No,
I know that
no,
we have
not
to.
really. Not really, right? But again, you're seeing one thing, right? You have to look at moon, you have to look at ascendant, you have to look at Venus sign, you have to look at a lot of other points.
Yes.
Don't go with one thing. All right? Okay. Kavish, hi.
Hey Srini, hey Kushita.
Hi.
Sorry I didn't join earlier rooms because I saw them, they were recorded, that's why.
You should post.
Okay.
You should have a problem with that.
Yeah, so that's why. Sorry about that, but
Hey Srini.
That's okay. Hi, Bhargavi. That's okay, Kavish, no problem.
okay.
So we're not doing any more recordings. We don't have the logistics, and we can't manage all this logistics.
Okay.
So it was all a try and a test and a error thing. So
Okay.
but tomorrow we are doing session on reading of famous people charts. It'll be in Zoom. So the
Okay.
Zoom may be recorded. So just to let you know.
Perfect.
I
Thank you.
propose that as punishment for Kavish for missing so many sessions, he's going to moderate the next 5 sessions.
Great,
I'm happy to
great.
moderate, but I just skipped those sessions because of since I just didn't want it to be like in a recorded session. That's why. Um, but I'm happy
Fair
to
enough.
Makes sense.
moderate always.
No, we've stopped that now.
Yeah, we stopped it. We are figuring out what is right, but we are not able to do all those things. So it's a challenge.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing, by the way?
Good. Surviving.
Nice.
Can't complain. How about yourself?
Good. They added a new feature of back channeling in this app, so that now we can chat also.
Yes. It was needed, I guess. No, already
No,
I
so
am
what is,
obsessed.
yeah, so what is going to happen is now people first used to email us or like message us on our LinkedIn and Twitter and whatnot. Now they'll just message us on on Clubhouse.
Yes,
Yeah, because Srini always used to get messages and also Kushita right from on other apps, but
I
now
am. I already got test messages. Somebody messaged me. Let me tell you what, I'll read the message. Hi, I'm checking if this works. Checking if this works for you. Few of them have already sent me. So there you go.
If it stops our stalking on other social networking websites, then I'm very happy with this move.
We'll see how it goes. I will say I'll wait for decision for to come back later.
but you cannot disable right this feature.
We don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I think only people you follow can message you.
Yeah,
I can.
correct. Correct. Then the
No,
only way not to do
no,
is
no, ma'am.
unfollow them, I guess.
Nice.
Okay,
I
so
think go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead, Kushita.
no, I was just gonna ask Kavish if he had any questions because now we've got Adi and Bhargavi also. So
No,
Kavish.
I have way too many questions because I was studying in between, but nothing pressing on Taurus. I can ask later. Bhargavi, go ahead.
No, I don't have a question. I just came to say hi to Srini and to you all.
Thank you,
Hi,
Bhargavi.
Bhargavi.
Thank you. Hi.
Okay, then we'll go to Adi and then Kavish. At least one question you can ask.
No, it's okay, Kushita.
Okay, all right. Hi, Adi.
Hi, namaste everyone. Hi, Shini. I just wanted to ask you a follow-up question about what you were talking about not standing and eating. That's something we do in our family too. Like my grandmother was always strict about that. Even if elders come in, if you're eating, you don't stand up. But I've never asked why. Why is that you shouldn't stand up when you're eating?
Because couple of things. Food is considered as God, right? Food is the only thing. Food is the only thing which in the world one can't say no to it, right? For example, I'll give an example. You just had your dinner. I come and give you food again. No, I'm full. No, I'm full, right? So food you is the only thing in the world you will say a stop us no. For everything else, you cannot, right? I mean, as people, right? You have 10 houses, somebody gives you two houses, I'll take it. You have two cars, cars. You know, whatever you can think of, right? Money, gold, etc., right? Now, food is very unique in this, and food is somewhere a blessing. Number one, they say, okay, because food is the only item among the three basic necessities: food, clothing, shelter, or anything you can add, where you have to say no to it. Number two, is food is something you cannot use money and buy sometimes, right? Like example, if you're traveling in a foreign country or in a foreign city or anything, you land, you come too late. It's too late, shops are closed, nothing available. So what happens now, right? All the shops are closed, no food is available. So now, just because you have money, you cannot buy it, right? That's two, right? Number three is food is something, they say that wasting food is like a sin, right? It's better that you give it to people or feed people or whatever it is, feed dogs, whatever it is, right? So, and most important, they say in dana and dharma, right? Dana and dharma, among all the dana you do, right? You have layers. Like you can give money, you can give clothes. These are all one step. The highest one is food. The next one is Godana. Godana is donating like a cow, right? But the highest is food. When you give food to people with your own hands, you gain the highest karma in this process. Now that has got that highest power. And when you're standing and eating, is something you're not respecting it. It is shows um, a sheer disrespect. Okay, there is a saying in versions. There was a thing. Okay, there is also a story to it, a mythological story. I'll explain that. The mythological story is anybody who goes to the temple and gets the prayer of the god, or sees the god and everything in the temple, will get some kind of punya, or good things happening. And the highest punya will come when that person is able to get the blessings of the god's prasad in the temple. Okay. So the question was raised by the nine planets to God, saying that people can keep doing anything they want, right? And they come and visit the temple and they can start eliminating. Now came the onion layers in that whole thing. The onion layers came in this whole thing was, just because you go to the temple doesn't mean you get the prasad. Okay? Because many times, right, I have experienced it, I'm sure many people in the room as well. You would have gone late, you would not have got the prasad, right? So you're gone now. The minute you get the prasad, right? If you stand and eat, right? The all the prasads, the food will enjoy, it'll go to your stomach, but the prasad's blessings and the prasad's thing will go to the ground straight away. Okay, they call it as the Puma Devi, Bhudevi. She takes all that energy of the thing. And the only way you get the blessings of the prasad of the god by having the prasad is by sitting down and eating it. That goes to your body and to you. But if you stand and eat, it goes the same way. Okay, so that is why if you see in all the temples back then in India, it was always constructed for a place for somebody to go and sit down, not for sitting down and chatting. Okay, today people go and use those places for chit chatting. Oh, what did you do yesterday? What's the plan for tomorrow? And all those things. But those places were sit down to go and meditate and get your prasad and eat it. But that is why it is. Did I explain your question, Adi?
Yes. Thank you, Srini. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But these are some of those hidden things where it is followed in Hinduism, where it's kind of got lost in translation through this whole invasions of British and all those things happen, unfortunately. But these were some of the things is so important that I said in one of my sessions one day that I'll give you an example, okay? You give $50 to donation to a person, homeless person, right? And that is one option. Another option is you go buy food for $50 and go food, and instead of giving $50, you're giving food for $50. Now, in your balance sheet or in your way of how you measure, it's $50 either way, right? It's $50. But in God's balance sheet, in karmic balance sheet, it is not. The food what you're giving is more stronger than the money what you have given to this person. Okay. Okay. So understand that, right? Also understand for that food, buying this food, you're putting an extra effort. You're going to the store, you're doing all that. That's extra effort also put in, right? But end of the day, the money donation doesn't give the highest value, right? Imagine in I'll give an example. In Mahabharata, right? When the Pandavas were in the forest and stuff, right? They needed food. So they had to pray to sun god, and the sun god came and gave them Akshay Patra for the food, right? That was the most important thing, was the food. The food, food, food. So the point is, if at all, imagine the highest strength is Annadan, followed by Godan. Money comes the lowest. Money is the lowest thing. If at all you think money, by giving money for charity, everything that you gain, good thing. No, it's the lowest value in the karmic chart. The Annadan followed by Godan is the next one. The third one probably is doing all the service. The service, the manual service for people, right? Helping people, all those things. It's there. But food is so important for people to live, right? And if a mother doesn't have food, she can't feed the baby now, right? Imagine in story Mahabharata again, why did Drona wage the war, right, against Drupad king? Because he betrayed him, right? And his son, he could not feed his son Ashwatthama at all. So he could not feed Ashwatthama with milk, rice, and everything. So he used to put the rice milk thing into the thing to cheat Ashwatthama as a kid because of this extreme poverty. So one needs to understand how important this this food is, and it was an eye opener for me myself that I got in between, in the lost in translation in this whole buffet and stuff like that. So I tried not to do that anymore. You know, I try not to do anymore at all by not standing and eating food. And I never do eat prasad or anything by eating, standing and eating. I never do that. I always sit down and eat. Even if it is the smallest one, I find a place to sit down and then only I eat it.
So that would include Srini, like if you went to volunteer in cooking food for the homeless. That is considered
Correct.
okay, what you're
So
talking
that
about.
that is a very good one. That is a very good
Mm-hmm.
one. So you're doing
Okay.
servicing and giving food. And end of the day, if you are able to give food with your own hands, it's nothing like it. It's one step high. Anything you done with your own hands is excellent.
Okay.
Go ahead, Karthik.
Hi Srini, hi Kushita.
Hi, Karthik.
So I didn't have any questions actually. I was just wanting to chip in into the discussion and probably add a couple of points that I knew, or rather I was exploring around this angle, given the context of food, right? Um, like you explained, Srini, right? Food uh, has the power to sustain human beings and pretty much any life, right? Food is the material that we consume to food, which is also life. We consume as life to continue our life, right? So it has that immense potential, right, to continuously keep feeding, whatever is alive at this point, to transform it into something else, right? And given that, and you've said food is God, it is for this reason I feel that we attribute that godly status. And also, other representation of food is it comes from the one of the five elements, right? The earth, right? Food is a direct representation of the earth, right? Any material that we are all built of, it's the transformation of earth within this human system, right? And then the second aspect of it that I've observed is, um, a lot of elders, usually keep scolding children if they usually expose their lower part of the body, um, facing any powerful, you know things or installations or etc. For example, uh, if a child basically sits with his legs open facing a deity inside a temple, right? You'll usually find elders scolding the child to make the child sit in a cross-legged posture, right? So anything powerful that is in front of us, we don't want to expose the lower part of the body, right? Especially the most lowest part of the body. When you sit in a cross-legged posture, we call that a mooladhara, right? And the aim of this human life, if it is uh, for someone, if it is to attain the spiritual progress in someone's life, then it is to move from the mooladhara to the highest point of the body, which is the topmost point in the head, the sahasrara. So even when you bow down to someone, something powerful, something energetic, more powerful than you, you bow down with your head facing that, so that you can receive it there. So to anything that has the power, that is considered godly, we don't expose the lower part of the body. That is also something that I've observed in uh, in all these days, and thought something that I wanted to share with you guys.
No, thank you. Absolutely, absolutely correct. I mean, the postures are very important, right? When you go, how you sit, and also the directions of how you rotate the temple clockwise you go, right? You don't do counterclockwise. So there are a lot of things around those whole postures. You know how many times you do it, right? Which and you're always supposed to sit down and come, just not stand and do the thing and come. You're supposed to sit as well. So there are basic etiquettes and rules as well. Absolutely correct. But thank you for reiterating that as well.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Kushita, I don't know. Shinish, can I ask a question or?
Of
Uh,
course, Kavish, go ahead. You're a mod.
uh, and also, Kushita, I see your profile has been changed. Like,
No, it's a second account because I'm trying to keep my um I've just had people contact me
okay,
and
no worries, no
just
worries.
yeah,
No
trying
need
to
to share. I
minimize
understand.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. No worries. Yeah, because I thought it's some different account.
No, I'm
Shrini.
using both. So please keep
Okay.
me on.
Yep. So, Shrini, I have a question regarding the directional strength, Digbala.
Okay,
So let's take example of Jupiter. It gets strength in the ascendant, like in the east direction. But you also mentioned that in 12th house, we can consider it as closer to the Digbala, and it gets strength.
correct,
Does
correct,
that applies to second house also because it is closer
correct,
to first, or is
correct.
it like going away from it?
So correct, but it is going away. So that is where it gets a little few points down. So the
Okay.
12th house is going towards the first house. It's approaching towards. So imagine this. I'll give you an example. The best example I can explain to you is you are so I'll just give an example. Let's say you are in Philadelphia. Okay, Philadelphia is your home, right? Let's say you're in a flight now. Okay, your flight is going to land 15 minutes to Philadelphia. Okay, airport. Okay, 15 minutes to Philadelphia airport. How excited you will be, right? How excited you will be. Let's look at it, right? How excited. Now I'll just take an example. Let's say you're taking a flight from Philadelphia to London. That flight is around 8 hours or 8.5 hours, close to 8.5 hours or so. Okay, 8 to 8.5 hours. So on an 8.5 hours journey, you have finished 8 hour 15 minutes. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to land to your house. So you're very excited. Okay. Now look at it the other way around. Your house is in Philadelphia, and you've just taken the flight, and you're 15 minutes in the flight, and you're going to London now. You see, you still have 8 hours, 15 minutes in that flight you have to cover, and you have to reach London. Even if London is also your home, let's say. So the point is, either way, both are the same, but 12th is a little bit better than the second.
Perfect.
Even if you take 15 minutes to and fro this side, 15 minutes, right? That's how it is. It is still close to Digbala, but between the two, I would consider more the 12th is going towards the first, and the first is left towards going towards the second.
Okay.
That's the way.
Perfect. Yeah, I had that hint, but I just wanted to confirm. And I also went deeper about the degrees. So let's say if in the second house he is at like 1 degree, or if he's in 12th house at 29 degrees, um, that also the same theory, right? Of 15 minutes away from that place.
Except that, see, the degrees what you're mentioning is time I'm mentioning. It's the same. See,
Exactly. Yes,
see,
yes.
see, every ascendant will rise for, if you look at it logically, there are 24 hours in a day. 24 hours, whole day, night if you take 24 hours. There are 12 houses. 2 hours, 2 hours per um, ascendant. Okay. And if you look at it as 1 degree means it's equal to 4 minutes. That's what it is.
Yep.
This is the math. 1 degree is 4 minutes. So instead of using time, I'm instead of using degrees, I'm just using time,
Time.
15 minutes. That's all. It's the same thing. You can come back to the same math.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, it's good to confirm. Great. Thank you.
No problem.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I had a quick question for Srini. I don't know if you mentioned this, Srini, too. For Taurus ascendants regarding gems, is diamond the only one?
Yeah. So I would say that for Taurus ascendant regarding gems, I would say that they to wear diamond. But there are rules. Okay. So the rules are, first, the diamond has to be not like a blood diamond or something, right? A natural one, not with
Mm-hmm.
a curse. So
Mm-hmm.
if at all you're buying a diamond, right? The Taurus and Libra can wear diamond. I don't know what noises I'm getting. Sorry, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So Taurus, Libra, and even Capricorn and Aquarius can wear diamond. Okay, Taurus, Libra absolutely can wear diamond, and so it's very good. Even I would recommend that Taurus and Aquarius and Capricorn also wears diamond. Okay. Now, if you're wearing a diamond, certain rules to follow. Buy the diamond, keep it in the house for 3 days. Make sure the diamond doesn't come with a bad curse or anything. If it's a natural stone, right? You have to validate that. Once you have validated it, make sure that you should always put it in platinum or a silver casting, right? Not gold, platinum or silver, and you can wear it typically in your right hand middle finger, I would say. Middle finger, right hand middle finger, that's the right place. Okay.
Yes. Also, for the color, for like, if they wanted to buy a car, what color would that be? I don't remember. I
So
had it written down, but I just don't
no,
have it.
no problem. So if Taurus ascendant's car, if you look at, right, so the car can be anything with silver, right, cream color, off white, off white, cream, diamond white color is there. All those colors, you can always look at that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Srini, can I ask a follow-up question on this?
Yeah.
So in earlier session, I guess I may be wrong here, but you mentioned about like the gemstones of not that importance, and also like
Correct. Correct. I
car
agree.
colors.
No, so correct. So see, colors are important, but go ahead. You finish your question. Maybe I thought you finished. Go ahead.
No, yeah, those were the two factors what
Okay.
Marjorie asked about
So,
gems and
so
colors.
see, gemstones are supplements. I will still say that, right? Gemstone. So if somebody is having a vitamin C supplement, I would never say not to have it, right? That's also important. But your vitamin C supplement cannot replace your vitamin C from your fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
You see, your vitamin C cannot replace from your fruits and vegetables. So that is one. So anybody who wants to have an extra vitamin C, I'm not going to say no, right? But the important point is if you wear the wrong gemstone, right? If you wear the wrong, like for example, I'll just give an example. Gemini ascendant or a Virgo ascendant, going and buying, wearing a gold ring with a yellow Kanaka Pushparaga, yellow sapphire. It's very detrimental. Okay, very detrimental. Cancer and Leo ascendant going and buying, wearing a blue sapphire on a platinum one. It's not good. Okay, now those have, they can do more damage than do good if you wear the wrong stone. I've had several people who came to me with that, and I can see that the damage done is always higher than the positive things. It's same thing as vitamin C, it helps you somewhat to an extent, not great. But important is how can you use your fruits and vegetables to have your vitamin C in your diet? That becomes an important question. That is not going to replace it. But if you wear the wrong one, or if you eat the wrong tablet or the wrong medicine, it'll backfire. That is the point.
Perfect.
So,
Okay, number
Srini,
one. Number one. I'll come to the color, but go ahead.
no, just a quick follow up. So, by that logic, if a Gemini or a Virgo ascendant wear yellow on a Thursday, is that detrimental?
So I'll come back. I'll come. I'm coming there. See, the day of the week has got that energy. On a Thursday, see, on a Thursday, Jupiter day, right? It's still the day of the week is the thing. So on a Thursday, it for Gemini or Virgo ascendant, is it really a favorable day? Not a favorable day. But that does that mean that you're staying home and taking day off? No, you're still working, right? The point here is on that day, the energy is associated with Jupiter. So you have to respect that energy of the day and align with that energy. Okay, you have to align with that energy. Just I'll give an example, and we would have all seen this in our life. Let's say we have one kind of boss who is a very demanding boss, very micromanaging what. So you have to work with that boss style. Another boss you get in another company, that boss is very independent, doesn't micromanage you. So works in a very different style, gives empowerment to you. So you work that way. You change yourself according to your boss. And if there is anybody who disagrees with me, raise your hand. I would like to know that you would change according to your boss, your company expectations, right? If your company makes you, you're sitting in Eastern time zone, if your company makes you work you in Pacific time zone, you have to work. That is the rule, right? So you go with the flow. So same thing is on a Thursday, that is the color of the day. So you go with the color of the day. That is the point. Does that make sense, Kushida?
Okay, so basically, yes, people with that Kendradipati dosh of Jupiter can actually wear yellow on a Thursday.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Because that's the energy of the day. Now, now the question becomes if you wear 7 days yellow, you're triggering that yellow energy now, right? Imagine if you do anything excess is a problem, right? And end of the day, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, which is dead against Jupiter now, right? Or Mercury doesn't consider Jupiter as enemy, but Jupiter considers the other way around. So the energies don't match that way. So what you got to be very careful is team A, team B, you have to align that and follow certain rules, but at least you can wear these colors on that day, right? But the stones, what happen becomes is it is on an everyday basis. And if you wear wrong stones, it has that energy which can backfire. So the way I can explain to you is very simple, okay, through science and art here, right? Go to the temple in India, right? Go to the temple in India, observe the temples, or even in the US, right? If you're living in the US, go to any of the temples. The 9 planets won't face each other. That's the beauty of these 9 planets. They don't face each other. None of the planets will see each other. Tell me if there is any planet you can see which will see other planet. It won't.
Yeah, they are in a square formation, but they never see each other.
That is the whole
So,
point.
so this
So
which temple is it in Tamil Nadu?
no, even in the US you come where Navagraha is,
Yeah, I
where
saw
you
that
have
in
the
San Diego.
Navagraha Sthana, you will not see that. You won't see the nine planets facing each other. Any one planet won't see the other planet. Okay. So when nine planets don't face each other, how can you take how can you take a jewel and put nine planets or nine gems in a stone and call it a Tavratna and sell it? It's all it's all just money making things here. That's all. Period.
And about the color of car, also you said that that is just kind of a supplement because
I'll tell you the color of the car. See, car is a very important thing, right? Car is a very important thing. It's not like clothes, right? That every day you change your clothes. You don't buy a car every day, another day, unless you're a multimillionaire. You have seven cars, you can have seven colors per day, right? But usually, I always say is go with whatever is your ascendant or the 159 houses. Those colors, you can team A, team B, same thing. You can do that in the web gear. That's the easy way you can, right? But many times I have seen people who are automatically running Rahu Mahadasa more than likely will buy a blue colored car. A lot of blue would come to them without them knowing that blue is surrounded. At some point, somebody if comes and points out to them, Shini, you are correct. I see my closet is with that, my bedspread is that, my comforter is that. All those things, Rahu Mahadasa will bring that energy all of a sudden. Rahu is one thing you don't know what's happening. That is the only energy of Rahu which actually blinds you completely. Before you see through it, by the time it's a little too late.
Srini, I just want to
But
add something here, but go on.
yeah, but Rahu is very unique about, very strong about it. There was one other person who I did consultation, and she like literally said, my car was blue, my closet 70% of my clothes are blue, my comforter is blue, my bedspread is blue, everything's blue. And guess I'm running Rahu Maharasa for the last 6 years. There you go.
So, Srini, after you told us about Rahu, and I believe the first time I heard about it, the blue color being associated with Rahu was like almost half a year ago, earlier this year. And I remember that I needed to buy a chair, and I was really trying not to buy a blue chair. And for some reason or the other, the chairs that I wanted were always out of stock, and I waited for more than 2 months from different shops, from IKEA, from Amazon, and I tried waiting. I put in a, just waited to see if it ever shows up in my list. It never came. Eventually I was forced to buy a blue chair.
or it was a sign not to buy a chair, Kushita.
See, that's the whole
Stand
point,
up
right?
desk.
In Rahu Mahadasa, running Rahu Mahadasa, it will do. That's what I'm telling you. The minute you try to be cognizant and everything, it will. I'm telling you, this is very unique. There's a lot of things about Rahu. You can keep on unraveling it. It's like layers and layers and layers of onions, basically, right? But Rahu is an unbelievable planet in this case.
So
That's a very interesting story, Kushita. So thanks for sharing. Even if you're careful, it will come after you.
no, it was incredible. I think I might have even waited longer than 2 months, maybe 3 months. Yeah, but it just never happened. In fact, I was forced to buy a more expensive chair than what I was looking for. So Rahu not only made me buy blue, but it also I had to shell out more money.
Yeah, it will give you more money. Don't worry.
Srini, I have another question if Kushita is done.
I am done. I'll just
But
reset the
let's
room
reset the
quickly.
room. Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to turn off hand raising in the next 2 minutes, and we have Nikita and Sangeeta also who want to ask questions. So if you have any more questions, now is the time to raise your hands, and I'll bring you up on the stage. Again, just one question per person, and we're not doing any personal charts. So please try and keep your questions vague if it's relating personally to you. So go ahead, Karthik.
But I asked already two questions. I will wait for Nikita and Sangeeta then.
Okay, if okay, that's all right. So hi, Nikita.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I had one follow-up question to the diamond thing that I've heard that when you're wearing the diamond stone, some people say that you should wear real diamonds, whereas other people say that American diamond is much preferable because in American diamond you could take a bigger stone and then it could actually touch your skin to an extent. So that would be more beneficial. So that confusion was there. And apart from that, I had one confusion that for both the Rashis, for Tula as well as for Taurus, Shani also plays a huge role because Aquarius and Capricorn are in the Dharma Trikon. So, is it also possible that wearing Neelam stone would also benefit these two signs?
Great question. So I'll break down these questions into multiple parts of answers. Okay, one by one. See, diamond, if you look at today, right? Look at which parts, where does the diamond, if it's a natural diamond. So artificial stones are all eliminated. Artificial is purely cosmetic, right? Artificial, you don't need to worry. You can do what you want with it. Okay? It's nothing. You can what if you want, if you have an artificial diamond, it's it's fake, it's artificial, etc. You can wear it, no problem. It doesn't have any energy. It's cosmetic thing. It's purely cosmetic. Okay? When it's natural, it doesn't matter where you buy it, in the US, in India, doesn't matter, right? Most of the diamonds pretty much are coming from African side, right? Africa, that's where the chunk of the diamonds are coming from, right? So I don't see it end of the day that just because you're buying from place X to place Y to place Z, that it's going to be different. You still have to follow the rules. The important point in these stones is you want to have what is called an open set. An open set is where, if it's a natural one, in the back side there will be a hole. Okay, if you want a picture or something, I can send a picture as well. But you will have a hole in the back. So that open one, okay, will have the energy where it goes to your nerves and your body that way. So if it's a natural, and that's the whole thing. You don't put it on a closed one where in the back also you're completely locking it. Okay, so that's the thing about first question. Is that clear?
Yes, Srini, thank you.
You're welcome. So come to the second question. Now, if you observed it some time ago, I even mentioned that right, even for Capricorn or Aquarius ascendant, right? Capricorn, Aquarius, you don't, I did not even recommend blue sapphire. I did not. I did not. Even for that one. The reason why, because Saturn is still a natural malefic. Okay? Saturn is still a natural malefic end of the day, right? Now, for 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 let's say Libra ascendant or Taurus ascendant, Saturn is a yoga karaka, right? Saturn is a yoga karaka, as what is what you're saying, right? Dharma and karma, or a fourth and a fifth house for a Libra ascendant, Dharma karma for the Taurus ascendant. Now Saturn being a yoga karaka, right, will give good results for sure through his adipatya, which is the fourth house, fifth house, or ninth house, tenth house. But he will still give bad results through his karakatva, which is his natural characteristics, unless he's dignified in the chart. So one needs to read the chart and understand those things before even say that. So that is the reason I always gravitate towards saying that Venus is a natural benefic where that is much better. Saturn, you don't know how is it placed, you don't know the thing. I was just talking to somebody yesterday, so I'll tell you this person. Okay, she is a Taurus ascendant. Okay, Saturn is a Yoga Karaka. Her first 2 years of Saturn Mahadasa was hell, hell for her, hell, literally hell, lawsuits, health, everything issues. Okay, so she is a Taurus ascendant. Now, can you explain to me how? That is the reason, because it's a natural malefic. You should not forget that. If you read Parashara Horasastra, end of the day, if you understand Saturn, we're doing the 9 Mahadasas, right? We're doing the 9 Mahadasas. So we have finished Ketu Mahadasa, we have finished Venus, we have finished Sun. Okay, the next we are going to do is Moon Mahadasa. Moon is coming next. So we'll finish Moon, then will come Mars, will come Rahu, Jupiter, then Saturn will come. When we come to Saturn, right, or when we come to Mars itself, the minute Mars Mahadasha starts, there will be some issue. You will always see an issue because Mars is also a natural malefic like Saturn. So, so nevertheless, these will have issues. Simple as that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you, Srini. That is exactly why I had that confusion, in fact, because I got two opposing views from various people. So that's why I thought I'll confirm it out here. Thank you.
No problem. A benefic is a benefic end of the day, right? Is a natural benefic is very important. The chart comes in, then we look at functional malefic, functional benefic, all those 9 yards. But until that, you still have the natural thing. I would always still go back to my statement and say natural benefic is great, right? End of the day. And the six ascendants in the team B, especially the four ascendants straight away you can wear it. Those are Taurus, Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius. All these four people can straight away wear a diamond ring. No problem. Just wear it on a platinum or a silver thing. That's the way it is. Because for all these four ascendants, Venus plays a big factor, either as a yoga karaka for Capricorn and Aquarius, and then for his two own ascendants also he does good. So end of the day, that is why I always recommend that.
Thanks, Nikita. Hi, Sangeeta.
Hi, good evening. Hi, Srini.
Hi.
Uh, I think I joined a little bit late and you may have covered this, but I had questions about Taurus specifically of it being in the Dustana houses, whether it's 6, 8, or 12.
Yes, so I did cover that, right? I actually covered at the start. So the way is if it's a sixth house, right? So the way I'll summarize it. The sixth house, let's take it can be only if it's a Sagittarius ascendant. So the sixth lord is kind of not the same way of the ascendant lord. So here Venus will give issues. So for example, I'll give another example. Cancer ascendant, if you take the sixth lord is Jupiter, okay, because he owns Sagittarius house. Here Moon and Jupiter are friends. So even though the sixth lord will give issues for Cancer ascendant, he also wants a ninth house. So he will do very good things through this process, right? We are going to the Bhavatwas here. For Sagittarius ascendant, Venus owns 6th and 11th. So what happens is there is a lot of issues he's going to give, and there is a kind of a different relationship with both of them, different energies. So there will be opposing issues, different issues giving through this process. Number one. Okay. Now Venus at the eighth lord, right? The only way it is ascendant lord, Libra, ascendant is Libra, Venus is eighth house. Okay, so the own house here. That's not that bad at all because the ascendant is Libra and the Mula Trikona is Libra. So that is very strong here. So it is not that bad here. Venus would give some damage, but end of the day, 90-95% Venus would do good things. 12th. For a 12th, Venus is for a Gemini ascendant. Okay. Now, what is very unique about Jupiter and Venus? Very unique again, the energies matches. Venus gets exalted in the 12th house in Pisces, in the natural zodiac. That is Aries ascendant, right? Natural zodiac. And Jupiter owns houses is uh, Pisces. Two planets which does exceedingly well in the 12th house is Jupiter and Venus exceedingly well. Venus exaltation, Jupiter own house, plus Jupiter's Digbala directional strength is the first house, which Kavish was asking earlier. So he's now getting close to Digbala now, right? And natural zodiac, he also wants the 12th. So that is the other important point also, Kavish, between 12th and second is he owns natural 12th house as well,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So that is also very important. So
Yes.
what happens is for a Gemini ascendant, then Venus sitting in the 12th now, or Taurus comes as the 12th. He is also the owner of the fifth house, which is the Mula Trikona. And end of the day, that is still a very good placement. It's 12th is still a neutral house. It's not a bad house at all. So I would not consider that bad at all for a Gemini ascendant in this case. But the only challenge I would consider is for the Sagittarius ascendant is a challenge. That is the highest challenge I would say.
which is Taurus in the sixth, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Or yes, yep, correct. Now you can take the other way also if you want. The other way is Taurus ascendant, Libra comes in the sixth, right? Taurus ascendant, Libra comes in the sixth. And then you can take, for example, Pisces ascendant, Libra comes in the eighth, right? And then Scorpio ascendant, Libra comes in the 12th. So you can also do this combination another way and see.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Kavish, do you want to go ahead?
Uh, but Srini, are you like taking questions, or
Go
I
ahead.
don't
We'll
know?
we'll
It's
finish. We'll
been
finish. We have 5 more minutes. We'll finish off.
okay. So this question is like not about Taurus, but like in one of the sessions, you mentioned that Jupiter does well with Ketu, right? Like
Correct. Correct.
obviously we are not seeing all the other exceptions, and but if Jupiter does well with Ketu, that means Rahu is automatically watching them. So
No, 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 no. Rahu is not watching. Rahu does not have aspect.
not even seventh.
No, no, no.
Wow. Okay.
So I'll explain. So I'll explain why it doesn't have samadhi. I'll explain. I'll
Okay.
explain first. See, first of all, Rahu and Ketu are shadow nodes. They are not physical planets. They are nodes.
Yes.
They are not okay.
Yes.
When you don't have a physical body, how can you watch something? Tell me.
Yeah.
See, so many people, I'm sorry to say, people because being greedy or whatever it is, or want to be popular, they even come and say Ketu has aspects. Ketu is a body, doesn't even have a head. How can even have aspect now? And they have given the same status of Rahu and Ketu of 5, 7, and 9 aspects to Rahu and Ketu. This is like crap. It
Uh,
does not. It is same thing as Jupiter. How can Rahu and Ketu be the same as Jupiter? Venus itself is not close to Jupiter. So the reality is, see, Ketu. So first explain. Ketu is a body, no head. So do we all agree Ketu does not have aspect because it doesn't have a head? At least we agree on that,
yes.
right? Number one. Number two is Rahu and Ketu both are physical nodes. Okay, physical nodes, you cannot see them. You cannot. They are invisible. When they are invisible, how can they have an aspect? Number one. Number two, I will tell you what does Parashara says. Parashara says very clearly, Rahu and Ketu act as chameleons. They will go sit in the house, whichever house they are sitting, they will act as that house owner, Lord, and give. So it is that means they will. That means they don't have their own thing anymore. They will only act as whichever house they are sitting. So, for example, Gemini ascendant Rahu sitting in Sagittarius. That Rahu will now act completely like Jupiter. That's all. But that doesn't mean he'll get the aspect of Jupiter now. Rahu sitting in for a Virgo ascendant, Rahu sitting in Capricorn. He'll act as Saturn now. But that doesn't mean now he has a Saturn aspect of 3, 7, 10. The reason is it is a chameleon. So it is basically, I will tell you what it is. It is like a power bank giving you charge like the original phone. But now that power bank cannot be your phone.
And I think Parashar also doesn't mentions about any aspects for these two
No,
nodes,
so I
right?
don't I don't agree. No, correct. I don't agree on this aspects thing. See, the challenge is lot of things have been I don't know diluted, or I don't know what has happened. I call it as being plugged in between. So I don't know, to be honest, how and where it's coming from. So that is my 2 cents, if you ask me.
Yeah, and everywhere people are like doing 5, 7, 9, similar to Jupiter's
That is
aspect.
Jupiter. This is all crap. And that's what I'm saying, right? It's gone into a different level. It's all into making money and doing what they want to do. Simple.
Okay. So then
I I don't agree on that.
no, yeah, that is good to know because obviously they are shadow planets. But can I ask the second part of the question then?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in this scenario, and I think you have explained it, I'm just repeating it. If the time period of Rahu comes, obviously since it's a natural malefic, it will give its bad results. But with the Jupiter's aspect, it might get good also, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. So the bad will come and it'll give you some remedy. The Jupiter is the remedy.
Perfect.
See, the event will happen. The incident might still happen, some bad events, but the remedy will follow.
Yes, that is.
The stress is there, the de-stress will happen next.
Yeah, because till now
But
I was thinking that the Rahu will aspect Jupiter, and the famous drunken monkey example which you gave. If like let's say,
Rahu, Saturn,
yeah,
and Mars.
yeah. So if they are sitting together and watching Jupiter, then maybe during Jupiter's Mahadasha, Jupiter will like the example of $100, like
Yeah,
his.
understand.
But
So Rahu's aspect is nothing but Ketu sitting there. Ketu's aspect is nothing but Rahu sitting there. That is the way I take it.
okay,
That's
but
all.
not like the actual aspects which.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay, perfect.
no, no.
Yeah, that
It,
changes everything.
no, it does not.
No,
See,
no, no. I mean,
When
not
Parashara is
your thing.
saying in conjunction with Rahu or see what it is, it never says Rahu's aspect is coming there, etc. Right?
Yeah, he never says it.
So, the other important point is I always said is Mars Rahu aspect, Mars Venus, Mars Saturn aspect, Mars Saturn conjunction, Rahu conjunction. That's the way I look at. Even in conjunction, also I've said, if for example two planets are in a house, let's say Virgo ascendant, and let's say sitting in Gemini, 10th house, and one is sitting at 5 degrees, other is sitting 28 degrees. This is not even a conjunction. They're just sitting in the house.
Because of the retrograde nature.
No, no, they're 23 degrees apart, end of the day.
Oh, I thought you were saying about Rahu.
I have not told you who is at what degree so far. I have not said which
Yep,
planet is at what degree, right?
yep,
Forget the
yep.
degrees. Two planets are sitting, planet A, planet B. Forget even Rahu, forget whatever it is. One planet is sitting 5, another planet is sitting in 24, example. 19 degrees apart. This is not conjunction. They are just sitting in the same house. That's all, period. No conjunction here.
Yep. Because the division is all like there is like no natural divisions in the sky, as you mentioned.
Right, right. It's very simple. The way I would say it is like a paying guest. Two people sitting in the house, right? Roommate, paying guest, right? One in the basement, one in the top floor. That's all. They're just there in the house. That's all, period. That's how it is. It's like a paying guest, both of them.
Yep. No, yeah, that explanation on Rahu and Ketu about shadow and this was really amazing. Thank you, Shrini.
No problem. I mean, people just say, oh, Rahu's putting this fifth aspect. Hold on a minute. And Ketu's putting this ninth aspect or third aspect or 11th. I don't. See, I explained one time, if you remember, I don't know if you were there. I think Kushita was there. Why do planets get aspects? Why do the interior planets, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus gets only the seventh aspect? And why does the exterior planets, Mars gets fourth, eighth aspect other than seventh? Jupiter gets fifth and ninth other than seventh, and Saturn gets 3, 7, and 10. I explained that very clearly. Why does these planets get aspects? From an astronomical perspective, I explained it. I'm not an astronomer at all, but I explained it.
Yep.
See, all planets has the ability of the seventh aspect. All planets. Now, Rahu, Ketu being shadow nodes, shadow planets. The way you can consider it as Rahu's seventh aspect is the Ketu there. Ketu sitting there. It's kept a block there. Basically, you are sitting here, you have put a camera in your house or in your other office. That is your aspect. Simple. You're not aspecting it, but that camera is the aspect. It's checking for you. Your eyes are not checking it. That camera is checking it. You see, that camera is checking it, your eyes is not checking it. So if you consider yourself as Rahu, that camera becomes Ketu, and that eyes is checking it and doing the job, not you. That is how you have to understand.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm getting another questions, but I will stop. I can ask later.
So, Srini, are you?
Yep.
Do you want to take more questions, or should we close
No,
down?
we close in the 9 o'clock hard stop. Will close. But any other questions?
Okay,
We'll close
Kavish, you
9
have
o'clock.
5 minutes more.
Okay. So about the aspects in the Parashar BPHS, he mentions about like 1/4, 3/4, half aspects. But in one of your
Correct.
session, you
Correct.
mentioned that you don't consider that, or did
Correct.
I heard it
Correct.
incomplete?
You heard it correctly. So Parashara, if you read Parashara, he says literally every house as an aspect, every planet has aspect on all the houses. Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, and then he okay.
Okay, there
Yeah.
is, but there is law of diminishing returns comes into play. There is a
Hmm.
lot of things comes into small things comes into play. And I explained, if you read when we did the session, I showed that how even the software Jagannath Hora has been built that way to show the aspects across the thing. If you read Jagannath, if you go and do the Jagannath Hora, in the aspect table, there is the aspect table there. In that, you can see how he's applied the exact roots of Parashara in the aspect.
Okay.
Okay, the reason why I will tell you why I ignore it and what it is, because see, astronomically, I'm convinced of the fifth, seventh, and ninth aspect for Jupiter. Parashara has explained clearly. That is the highest thing it's going to give. The other is, see, the other is like you are going eating buffet and having a pickle. It's like a pickle kind of a thing or a dessert kind of a thing. The buffet, the main course is the most important. Appetizer and main course is the most important thing. So I focus on that. I don't want to get into, getting lost into the small things. It's an outlier to me. I just eliminate it. And as years of experience comes, you will have the confidence level to do the same thing.
Perfect.
See, the other way in other way we explain is Pareto principle. Also, if you understand Pareto principle, your top 20% drives 80% of the business. Simple. Apply Pareto here. You apply Pareto.
So in your experience, you always consider the three aspects equally, correct?
No, no, I defer that. So no, I change. So there are rules for that also, right?
Okay, then it's
So
okay. No worries.
that's different.
Yeah, no worries.
So so you have to understand astronomically about the aspects, right? You have to understand astronomically about the aspects, especially the third, seventh, tenth for Saturn, right? So there is a calculation Parashar has given. You can follow that rule also, but everything I change for 579. See, the seventh aspect is always the full one, opposite. You see, logically, the seventh is always the opposite. So you always can see the person opposite, exactly opposite to you. You can see the person. That is the highest one. Now we'll have to adjust the fifth and the ninth. But in Jupiter, it's a little bit different. Mars is a little bit different, and Saturn is a little bit different astronomically.
Perfect. Thank you, Srini.
And I think when I explained about Saturn, okay, I explained about Saturn. The third aspect, for example, is not that bad. Why? Because the third aspect is already halved. So take the solar system. Okay, take the solar system. You have Sun. Start from Sun. Sun. So look at the orbits. Count the orbit now. Sun is first. Mercury is two. Venus is three. Sun, Mercury, Venus. Earth is fourth. Mars fifth. Um, then sorry. So start from Sun. Start from Sun. Count Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn is in the sixth orbit. Correct?
Yes.
The sixth orbit, it gets the third aspect. Why? Because what happens is the distance from the sun to Saturn all the way, right, is so far. Okay, it's so far that it gets that cut off. Okay, and then what happens is, between, if you go read astronomy, right, between Jupiter and Saturn, there is one layer. It's called asteroid belt. Okay, asteroid belt. That layer actually will deflect half of that energy. So only half can pass. So the 6 becomes exactly divided by 2, which becomes third. So the third aspect is not that damaging because of the asteroid belt. Thanks for that asteroid belt. It's a karmic belt, I call it.
But Srini, the asteroid belt is located between Jupiter and Mars.
No, but so understand. No, no, no. Understand. It has to. So where is okay? So no, no. Go and check where it is first. It's not between Jupiter and Mars.
Okay.
Go and check. But either if I assume, okay, if I let's agree with Jupiter and Mars, where is Sun? Where is Saturn? It has to cross and go. No, it has to
Yes.
still cross the asteroid belt and go. No,
Yes.
either way. See, you can go figure out where is the asteroid belt. That asteroid belt is between, if I'm not mistaken, is between Jupiter and Saturn. There is an asteroid belt there. Okay. Anyhow, you put the belt, that the rays from the sun to go to Saturn to come back again, there is a half cut there because of that asteroid belt.
Thanks, Srini.
No problem. That's why Saturn gets the third aspect. It's supposed to get sixth.
Okay.
It gets the third.
So, if I understand correctly, the asteroid belt actually breaks it, and that's how you get the third aspect.
It doesn't breaks it. It doesn't let you pass completely. The full doesn't pass that way, right? It does a loss. It doesn't break. There is a loss in this process, right? So imagine you have a wall in between houses and your Wi-Fi cannot pass. Have you seen that in your house?
Yeah.
That is a break. It's a loss, right? Correct?
Hmm.
Is that fair to say? In your
Yeah.
house with walls, sometimes
Yeah.
your Wi-Fi cannot go through.
Yeah.
So that is the same thing. The asteroid belt can be considered as this one, as the loss which breaks in this process. You know, does it make sense? What I'm saying?
Got it. Okay. So just to quickly flip the question, if the third aspect is not that bad, then which is the most sort of potent aspect of Saturn?
So seventh and tenth is there strong.
Of the
Seventh and tenth.
seventh and tenth, which one is more strong?
Oh, good one, good one. So seventh is more stronger, I would say, and tenth is a little bit. See, tenth is more of this karmic one, and seventh is extremely strong. Seventh is more stronger, I would say, because anything opposite always has the strongest one in this case here. The third actually gets broken down because of the asteroid belt and the distance. It's both the combination of distance and asteroid belt.
And if I can just add one more element to the question, what if
Go ahead.
in any of these aspects Saturn ends up aspecting one of its own houses?
Saturn gets stronger. So I always said apply the rule of
So, so,
Vedic astrology.
so one second, Saturn gets stronger or the house's quality gets stronger?
Both, right? Both. So both. Saturn will also get strength, right? So imagine this way. See, the way to explain Vedic astrology in this process is to understand daily principles of your life and your way to break it down. That is why you will never forget it. Okay. Otherwise you'll always forget it. Imagine, imagine you're having food in a restaurant. Okay. You're park and it's a new restaurant. It's the first time you're going. Okay. Let's say this. Okay. And you parked your car in front of the restaurant at your eyes distance and you're grabbing your food. So, is it fair to say your car is strengthened up and you are also strengthened up when you are having your dinner? Is it fair to say your car is strengthened up because you are aspecting the car to make sure that nobody's touching it or towing it or robbery, whatever it is, and you are also getting strengthened because the car is also kind of aspecting you, as in you can see the car. Is it fair to say that?
Yeah.
So another way, you let's say this. Let's say you have your cousin. You just went into the shop to grab something and you have a 10-year-old or 8-year-old in the car and you're just The kid is seeing you, you're seeing the car. So both of them get strengthened that way. You're still safe. You feel safe. You're just going into the shop to get some change. The
Yeah.
kid is in the car. So same thing, the house gets strengthened, Saturn gets strengthened. Both happens.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
the question is the question is it good or not good? That is the whole point, right?
That's
And
yeah.
what house
That's
it is.
exactly yeah. So will
I
it
know where you're
protect its
going.
own?
I
Hey,
know where I see it depends, right? So I'll give an example. I'll give an example. So let's take Gemini ascendant. Saturn owns sorry, eighth and ninth house, right? Now which house he's aspecting is an important thing here. If he's aspecting the eighth house is bad, okay. If he's aspecting the ninth house is somewhat better because eighth is still a Dusthana, ninth is still a Trikona, fine. And if he's aspecting the ninth, he's sitting the third, that means in this case. So you'll have to understand because see, all these planets have dual adipatya, right? Double adipatya, double ownership. Okay.
Got it. But Srini, I didn't understand the logic of why, if it ends up aspecting a Trikona house, why is that not so bad?
No, no, no. Okay, but okay. So let me explain. Okay, versus the eighth house, right? For the Gemini ascendant, right? So see, malefics, natural malefics in the eighth are bad. They're not good. Eighth house has to be empty. If at all not empty, natural benefics are okay. Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, it's okay. Okay. The eighth house. When a natural malefic like Saturn, Mars aspects its own house as eighth house is still bad. It's not good.
can you explain when when you say it's bad? What does that mean?
So couple of things. One is they try to give. So Saturn owns two houses in this case. Let's say Gemini ascendant, right? Eighth and the ninth. The eighth house is Capricorn. The ninth is Aquarius. Okay. By aspecting more of its own house, whichever house it's aspecting, it will tend to give you more of the eighth house results than the ninth house. Okay. Okay. Now the eighth house results. What are the eighth house results? Right. Lot of good things and bad things are there in eighth. Ninth, a lot of good things are there. That's the difference, right? The lot of good things in eighth house is sudden gains. For example, sudden gains, inheritance is there. Okay. Saturn can give you longevity in this case, not bad. Okay. But Saturn can give you health issues in this case. That's bad. Health issues, right? Saturn can give you issues around married life in this case. Married life longevity will give you issues around this case. That is the bad part. The good part I explained. The bad part is also the inheritance has to come in. Somebody in the family has to die or let go for you to get the money. So that is the bad part. But Saturn aspecting the ninth, in this case, is a Mula Trikona, Aquarius, his own house. And ninth house is also associated with spirituality. And ninth house is travel. Ninth house is luck. And and for a Gemini ascendant, Mercury and Saturn are being friends. So it gives you some of those things through the process, sitting in an Upachaya house, third house. So that is the way it is. So
And
remember this rule. Sorry, 1 minute. Remember this rule that all natural benefics placed are in trine are good. All natural malefics in Upachaya houses 3, 6, 10, 11 are good. Kendra also are fine. But malefics don't do well in a trikona. In the fifth and the ninth, the malefics don't do well at all. Malefics block a lot of things in the trikona. Okay, malefics do well in a kendra. Okay, so you have to understand those. Again, kendra, you have to break it down once each kendra. But the reason what happens is the thing is you have to understand the difference between trikona and kendra. A trikona, right? A trikona gives you wealth. Okay, Kendra gives you happiness. Okay, malefic sitting in a trikona will start blocking this materialistic gains and wealth. That is the problem. Sorry, Sangeeta, you were saying
I
something.
was
I
just saying, okay, so Bill Gates, for example, and I think he has his Venus and Saturn sitting in the fifth house, which
okay.
is the Lord of, right? So Saturn again, like you just mentioned.
So, but okay, but here is what correct. But now dignification comes into play. In the so Bill Gates, if I'm not mistaken, was a Gemini ascendant, right, Sangeeta?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, all right. And in Saturn gets dignified sitting in Libra in the fifth house here. So, and Saturn gets dignified, right, with sitting with Venus. The dignification happens. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So this is how you have to see, right? So now you're adding layers after layers after layers now. So they don't do well. Absolutely correct. But then what is next? How does that get dignified? Somewhere Saturn is sitting all of a sudden in us in the fifth house, which is we I even mentioned there were so many people. I forgot to say thank you to people also here. People who were reading books came to me yesterday and day before yesterday in the last few days after I did the sun to say that when I did sun in the like I did sun through the houses and all those things. Sun Mahadasa I did, and I didn't do sun through the houses, my mistake. Sun Mahadasa and everything. When I said that when sun is placed in the house of Taurus, it gets dignified. I even said it today also. I said it today also. It is inimical, but it gets dignified. You should not discount that. And sun in Libra is bad because it's debilitated. That's the challenge. But but when the dignification happens through natural benefits, both Venus and Jupiter, the other planet would get a lot of that positive energy. Your dignification is nothing but your power bank plugged into your phone, giving you juice to your phone. That is dignification. In that case, your power bank loses charge and your phone gets charged. Energy is transferred. So your Venus might lose charge and your Saturn would gain charge. But do understand, Venus is sitting in his own house here and is Mula Trikona. So the Venus is double charged here. But without the Venus, everything would change here. Does
Also,
that make
Srini,
sense?
yeah, it does make sense. Thank you. I think just back to what Kushita was saying. So, how are the results different? Like, let's say these aspects are not in the main chart, but they're in the Navamsha. Would the results be different?
No, so in the Navamshas, you don't see Navamshas is not. I'll do the session soon. Navamshas is not a chart where you go look at all aspects. In Navamshas, you focus more on conjunction, benefic houses. Okay,
Okay, okay.
Navamsha is a derivative chart. Navamsha is a derivative chart. You don't go apply the fifth aspect, the ninth aspect, blah blah. No, no, no. You
Okay,
can
okay, okay.
you can up. Okay, so you got to dribble it down, and I'll go further. I'll explain it because Navamsa itself is a very strong topic which will go into details. But Navamsa is different, but absolutely correct to a point. Keep the Navamsha out. You go and check the Navamsha placement also, right? Navamsha is very important for Bill Gates to go and check as well, right? To see how it is placed. So the strength, as I always said, you have to look at the Navamsha also. We are only talking D1 so far. The D1 itself, Saturn is dignified here in this process.
So, like to Kushita's question, like let's say Saturn is not in the seventh house in D1, but it's in the seventh house in D9. Would
So
the same
that
apply? Is it
no,
still
no, no, no. That would be interpreted very differently.
okay?
Very D9 is a derivative.
Okay.
See, so let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You have tomatoes, okay? You have tomatoes. Now, with the tomatoes, you have from let's say you bought it from the vegetable market or one of it place, right? Farmers market, whatever it is. Now, the tomatoes can be converted into several derivatives, okay? Let's say let's say what you do is on the same day you make some tomato ketchup, okay? And what you make some tomato salsa next. You make some tomato juice, and you make some tomato soup. You made four things now. What you cannot do is you cannot convert back this to the tomato. Okay, the base is the D1, but these are all derivatives. So your D9 chart is a derivative, like your D10 chart, your Dasamsha chart. These are all derivatives of the original tomato, but you can never convert it back to that. And the tomato one has the life. This is all derived from your thing artificially. So the other divisional charts are nothing but derivatives, and you have to break it down. Your Navamsha chart is your result, your success. But you just don't read that chart and say, okay, it's placed well, it'll go. You have to read other points within the Navamsha chart, the Mahadasa, the team A, team B. There are so many layers to break it down. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Shall we wrap it
Yep,
up, Shrini?
yep, yes, please. Thank you.
Great. All right. I mean, I think there are more questions. Kavish also has. I also thought of some more. So maybe we can do a general Q&A
Sure,
sometime
we'll
we
do.
have.
We'll
So
do.
we can
We'll
just
plan
discuss
that.
these things.
We'll plan that. Great thing. One thing before we close or something, I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow we are doing some chart readings, by the way, Sangeeta, just to, since you asked about charts and stuff. Tomorrow, Tana and other people are bringing some charts of people who I don't know who they are bringing. So we'll be doing some chart interpretations in this process as well. So tomorrow, if you are there, we can interpret a lot of these charts and explain some of those things, the time periods, the Mahadasas, the Ashtakvargas, a lot of things we can look into it.
Okay, sure. And then are you going to do a Navamsha
Correct,
session here
correct.
soon? Okay,
It's
okay.
it's soon. It's in the list, right? Because people ask me
Yeah.
about this Mahadasa sequences, so
Yep.
I'm finishing the Mahadasa, right? Right? And then people ask me through the planets, this houses thing. So I've already started touching this. So I already finished Aries. I finished Aries. I finished Gemini. I finished Taurus. I think I finished Cancer as well. And then I have to finish the next eight houses. There's eight different houses I have to finish in the zodiac. Then Mahadasa finished. I finished Ketu. I finished Venus. I have finished Sun. Next is Moon Mahadasa. So I have to finish almost six Mahadasas next in that sequence, right? So all these things are running parallelly. And then we just finished the book reading. People came to the charts thing now. So from last week. So we are going to do the chart session today. So everywhere we are going in multiple directions as like a multi-lane or so definitely it's on the pipeline. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just wanted to make sure I'm just figuring out when to plan the date and keep it up a little bit early in time or advance it up or put it in the calendar. Only because is I know that I'm going to get bombarded with people saying do it again and all those things. So I can't. So I'll just have to figure out how to manage that process. So I'm thinking through this myself. It'll be probably a close to 2 to 3 hour session on Navamsa to break it down completely. So I'll have to work out a way how to synthesize and give it so that people can reproduce it or replicate it in a way which is meaningful. So I'll have to work on this whole process on that.
Shrini, if I can suggest, could you do the Navamsha session on a weekend? Because I have to work late on some evenings and not
No,
be able.
it'll be 3 hour session easily, right? And what I was thinking was to put a couple of charts, three, four people charts as well to explain along with that as well, because it has to be more practical also. So, and well noted your feedback. I will schedule it on a weekend as well. I will figure out because it may go over, I feel. So absolutely correct. So a weekend, I'll have to figure out. I am only worried on putting it on a Saturday because of this Saturnian energy. Maybe on a Sunday, I'll probably do it on a Sunday then. That's the way I can think of.
I was gonna
Thank you,
request
Shrini.
the same. If we can do it on a weekend, that would be really great.
Okay, sounds good. Feedback well taken. Yeah, feedback well taken. We'll do that on a Sunday then. We'll plan. I just need to put out a schedule or how to I'm going to synthesize and break it so that people can understand it, break it down. Step one, step two, step three. There are so many steps to read the Navamsha. So I'll have to synthesize it in a way which is very meaningful and relevant. And you never read your D1 chart or you never read your D9 chart without your D1 chart. So you never do that. So those things, those basic rules, I have to set up ground rules and I have to give it so people don't forget it. So then that means people probably should have a pen and a paper. So all those things are there. So I'm thinking through those best practices as well to put it. So I'll come back on that soon.
Great.
But tomorrow we have a session. Tomorrow we have a session, and then Sunday we are doing on a session with Astro Council Club for Sun through the houses as well. So that's around 12 o'clock Central Time on Sunday, coming Sunday. But these are the next two sessions so far calendared. Yeah,
Great. Thanks, Srini.
sure. Thank to you, Kushita. I think I'm done. I'll just say a prayer and we can lock the room unless you have to summarize with anything.
No, please go ahead.
All right. Thanks very much for your help in moderation, and thanks, Sai Divya, for offering to help as well. And thanks to everybody for joining today, and thanks for the great questions, discussions, interactions. Somewhere Venus energy has come in to take some more time. I thought we will finish up quickly like Mars, but no. So Venus
That was
progressed somehow
Saturn,
with
I
some
think, Srini.
extension. Which one?
That was Saturn. We started talking about Saturn, so.
Yeah, true. Agreed. I totally agree. I totally agree. Respecting Saturn energy. It's end of the day, it's all team B, right? Saturn, Mercury, Venus, all team B players, right? So absolutely. So just give me a minute. I'll just say a prayer and we'll end the session for today. All right, Kushita, I'm done from my end. Please go ahead and you can close the room, yeah?
Okay, great. Thanks everyone for joining today. And as you've heard, tomorrow we are doing the book reading. So please follow Srini and the
Sorry,
Vedic
tomorrow is
Astrology.
not book reading. Tomorrow is the chart interpretations, just to clarify.
Uh,
Sorry.
sorry, sorry,
We're
my
done
mix.
with the book.
Great. All right. So please follow him and the Vedic Astrology Club, and see you tomorrow. So I'm going to be closing the room in 3, 2, and 1.